Dug into the hills and the cliffs, and this stadium they sadly do right against the sea. Monaco in white with the red on the front, and then Manchester City all in black, and they've just emerged from a huddle hoping for a strong start in this game this evening. We heard right at the start of the programme on 5 Live the main action from the only time that these sides met in the past, that famous knockout game back in 2017. That was just when Pep Guardiola had joined Manchester City. Monaco were the first team to knock him out of Europe as a City boss. And in all the years ever since, there's only been one other team, and that was Real Madrid last season, who were able to knock out Manchester City before the quarter-final stage. So the smoke still evident in the air from those pyrotechnics released by the Monaco fans away to our left-hand side. There's the running track around the pitch here. This stadium which has held World Athletics Championships in the past. The Manchester City fans, they're all housed away to our right-hand side. That's the end that City will attack as the game is underway. And the ball rolled back to Eric Dyer. And the England international launches it long. John Stones very much has started on the right-hand side of a back four for Manchester City. He gets his first touch of the ball as Salisu gives it to Dyer. And then it's over into space for Thilo Kehrer on the right-hand side. Kehrer, who won the Conference League with West Ham a couple of seasons back. Monaco, who tried to play it out from the back, but they run themselves out of play, and a throw in for Nico O'Reilly on the far side. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, interesting, that sort of right back position for Manchester City this season. It started with a fair few, hasn't he? Kusanov and Lewis and Nunes has played there. John Stones getting the nod this evening. You can see Monaco, they're 3-4-3, but they'll filter into a 5 at the back, and they'll sit in and I think try and counter-attack Manchester City.
John Stones this evening making his 50th start in the Champions League. He's played some part in all but 2 of City's Premier League games this season. Nico O'Reilly comes forward midway inside Monaco territory. Manchester City already sort of ominously setting up stall inside their opponent's half, and Monaco, who'll have studied the videos, will know exactly what's coming at them here as they try to double up on Jeremy Doku immediately and foul the Belgian. And that is a free kick to City just outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. It was at the Etihad on Saturday when Manchester City made quite hard work of that 5-1 win over Burnley. Now, it seems strange to say, Chris, 5-1 and not be super impressive, but actually 2 own goals, 2 very late goals that turned what 3-1 seemed fortunate suddenly to 5-1, but Doku was the standout player.
Yeah, he's had a really excellent start to the season. Maybe, previous season just lacked that consistency, but he's been direct and dangerous and wins the free kick for Manchester City on that left-hand side.
Who scored against Napoli in the opening game. Right, here comes the free kick. Phil Foden standing over it. Left-footed delivery, lashes it in. Very powerful. And Van de Sar, the Brazilian, he probably could have let that and it would have gone for a goal kick, but he wasn't quite sure what was behind him, so he heads the ball out, and that'll be a throw-in for Manchester City, and they will remain on the attack. This is 5 Live. We're also on BBC Sounds this evening, and you can listen to this commentary alongside the final score graphics and video printer. Go to the BBC iPlayer or indeed the BBC Sport app. You can click on the Champions League final score there, and you can follow the game that way. What about Arsenal against Olympiacos at the Emirates? Here's Chris Coles.
2 minutes old. Arsenal should be in front. Gabriel Martinelli's missed a wonderful chance. Great Lewis Skelly ball to find him, and he was on his own inside the 6-yard box and headed just wide. Big chance missed. Arsenal 0, Olympiacos 0.
Earlier on today, Newcastle made short work of their trip in Belgium. They beat Union Saint-Gilloise by 4 goals to 0. So this is Monte Carlo. This is Monaco 0, Manchester City 0. We'll keep you up to date with events of the Barcelona-Paris Saint-Germain game. And there's a few good matches on tonight, actually. Dortmund against Atletico Madrid. Napoli taking on Salzburg. 0-0 in all the 8 o'clock kickoffs so far in the early stages there. By the way, Paul Pogba is here this evening. He's had that 2-year ban for doping. He was signed by Monaco in the summer. He's not made his debut for them yet. It was at the press conference last night they spoke about him being available after the international break, but Pogba is here to watch his old Manchester rivals this evening as Manchester City tried to go long. It's launched just too far in front of Jeremy Doku, but interesting that he raises the thumbs. He gives the clap to John Stones for that quarterback style long-range pass, which very nearly picked him out.
Yeah, if there's space in behind, that Doku and Haaland especially will make those movements in behind. Bernardo Silva will play high off the other side, but it's the early stages for Manchester City, everything going out left. But when you look at the sort of imbalance really with Stones and Bernardo Silva on that right-hand side, obviously all the attacks going out left in the early part of the game for City.
0-0 here as Monaco trying to come on the attack down the left-hand side. Krapa Diatta, the Senegalese player, cutting in off the left wing, gives a good ball towards the edge of the penalty area to Aquilouche, who's recently made his debut for France, and then a high-hanging cross comes into the centre. Stones gets a delicate touch on it, knowing that Bernardo Silva was behind, and Manchester City seem to have this under control. They're still inside their own penalty area, but Rodri takes charge, having been rested in the Premier League of the weekend. Pep Guardiola saying that he had felt a soreness in his knee, but Manchester City fans will be very pleased to see that Rodri does start here this evening. So this is Manchester City in possession, looking to lay down an early marker here tonight. Our feature game of the Championship this evening will be 20 minutes old by now. Millwall against Coventry. Here's Andy Stevenson.
It's goalless, but the closest we come to a goal was just now. An effort from Victor Torp that went wide after great work down the right-hand side by Tatsuhiro Sakamoto for Coventry. Also a penalty shout in the build-up, but referee Lewis Smith said no. Millwall 0, Coventry 0.
Elsewhere, West Brom are leading Norwich by a goal to 0. Portsmouth 1 up against Watford. Still 0-0 in the very early stages between Queen's Park Rangers and Oxford, as Guardiola shepherds the ball out of play for a throw into Manchester City on the far side here. So Monaco, who've won all 3 of their home games so far this season. This is their first European home game of the campaign. This time last year they claimed a big scalp in their opening home match of the Champions League. They beat Barcelona here, and they'd love to get one of those high-profile scalps against Manchester City here this evening. Rodri, neat and tidy inside the centre circle, picks out Phil Foden. City playing from left to right as we look down. Doku takes charge, steps in field of Aquilouche, gives a ball into the penalty area, dangerous, helped on towards Bernardo Silva, and then it just taken away from him as it goes back to the Swiss goalkeeper Philip Cohn, wearing bright yellow away to our right-hand side. Tijani Reinders tried to help the ball onto Bernardo Silva there, went down, but no foul against him.
Good run though from Reinders, wasn't it? A sort of trademark run from Reinders this season. Likes to get forward. Doku just quite heavy with the pass, really. Fizzed into him at waist high and couldn't get the ball under control.
Manchester City have it with Guardiola to Doku on the far side. A lunge by Vanderson to get in works. And Monaco are able to regain possession. Jordan Teze. By the way, I'm told it is Teze. We thought it might be Tez, the Dutchman, but the French journalist I spoke to assured me it is Jordan Teze. As Monaco come on the attack, Vanderson, good surge this. Tries to cross on the right-hand side, blocked by Nico O'Reilly. And that goes out for the first Monaco corner of the evening with 6 minutes played, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, that's their game, Monaco counter-attack. Happy to sit in and soak the pressure up and then burst at pace. And Vanderson does brilliantly. Gets away from Guardiola. Looked like he was second best, and his cross was blocked and out for a corner. Manchester City with some defending to do.
Vanderson, who's a Brazilian international, played for them as recently as this summer. He's the right wing back for Monaco. First real chance for him to come forward there, as here comes a high looping cross in from the right hand side and dealt with by the Manchester City defence. Monaco still have it though inside the final third. Vanderson tries to clip it out to the right hand side, pushes too much on that, and out it goes for a throw in. So what about Barcelona against Paris Saint-Germain? 2 big names taking on each other in the Champions League this evening. John Akers is across this. John.
It's 0-0, but Lamine Yamal has been ridiculous already. A great run, setting up a Torres shot which was blocked in the opening 2 minutes. He's just gone to the byline again. He looks sharp. Barcelona 0, PSG 0.
Thanks very much, John. So before Lamine Yamal was out of nappies, Ansu Fati was going to be the next big thing out of Barcelona. Made his debut as a young teenager, quickly got in the Spanish team, was scoring loads of goals, and it was such a tragedy really when he picked up that serious knee injury at a young age. We've seen him play on loan at Brighton a couple of seasons back. He's still trying to rediscover the magic. Ansu Fati starting, I mean, he still looks like a teenager down there, doesn't he, Chris, the number 31? But you'd love to see him get a fresh start here at Monaco.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't happen for him at Brighton, and everybody when he first came through, wasn't it? The excitement at Barcelona, feeling that he was going to go on to become one of the greats, and he's just trying to get his career back now, and I hope he gets back to the level which he once was.
This is his first start for Monaco. He's got 4 goals in 3 appearances off the bench so far, so he's Definitely started in the right vein. Big test for him tonight against this Manchester City defence. We've yet to see much of Ansu Fati in possession here as Bernardo Silva dinks one forward, looking for a run of Phil Foden, but Salisu gets there first and hammers the ball out of play right in front of Pep Guardiola, who's wearing a smart dark jacket this evening. What is a warm evening in Monaco as Guardiola comes forward, rolls it into the feet of Nico O'Reilly, attacking the penalty area at pace. Oh, Foden took that really well initially away from Eric Dyer, a little round-the-world turn, but then somehow as he seemed to have done the hard part and gone away from Dyer, then he couldn't fully get it in his grasp, and Monaco were able to clear the ball away.
It was a wonderful little pirouette from Phil Foden. Eric Dyer got too tight, and then he just let the ball get away from him. Eric Dyer, lucky on that occasion.
More 5 Live commentary tomorrow from the Europa League. You can listen on Sports Extra to Celtic against Sporting Braga. That is at 5:30. Followed by Sturm Graz against Rangers. That's at 7:45. Plus Aberdeen against Shakhtar Donetsk, available just before 8 o'clock on Sports Extra 2. Here on 5 Live tonight in the Champions League. Monaco 0. Manchester City 0. Jeremy Doku on the attack down the left-hand side for City, tracking the ball under his studs, drawing the challenge from Van der Sar, and then City thought they were going to get the throw there, but it was last touch off Doku and possession back to the hosts.
Yeah, Kliush working really hard on that right-hand side for Monaco, doubling up with Van der Sar. They know that Doku is the danger. On the other side, Bernardo Silva doesn't have that ability to go past players.
Last time these sides met, high-scoring thriller, 8 goals in the game. Manchester City winning 5-3 in the last 16 back in 2017, but they went out on aggregate. Kylian Mbappe scored in both legs for Monaco in that tie. Monaco had possession here. Kliush has given it away though, and Foden, who started the game in a dominant manner, picks up Tijani Reinders. Space to shoot, but he really walloped it, and it's way off target. It's all power, no accuracy from Tijani Reinders, and the first real shot in anger for Manchester City tonight.
Yeah, he had space to run into, 25 yards out, took a touch, and Teze got across and tried to make the block, but high and wide from Reinders. A really poor effort from him. Good opportunity that for Manchester City, but it's got to work the goalkeeper.
Scored against Wolves in the opening weekend to Gianni Reinders of the Premier League, but hasn't been able to add to that tally just yet. There is a foul on following Balogun, the former Arsenal player. Monaco spent over €30 million to sign him from Arsenal 2 years ago. USA international as well, so a big season for him coming up with the World Cup next summer. And he scored for USA in a friendly against Japan last month, following Balogun. He is the centre forward, the number 9. As they played out to the left wing here, Diatta made a good run forward, and the pass is just too far in front of him. And a bit like Jeremy Doku a moment ago, he turns and he applauds and gives a thumbs up for the intention of the pass, if not quite the execution. Here's Rodri, just inside his own penalty area for Manchester City. 0-0 tonight. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Foden keeps it moving, one end to the other very quickly here for Manchester City. Doku comes in field of Van der Sar, plays a really good ball to Bernardo Silva, stumbled a little bit as he tried to get onto it. Now he gets his head up, looks to see who's in there. Haaland was at the back post, it's repelled away. Rodri challenges for it on the edge of the penalty area. He's collided there with, I think it's Salisu, who's slow to get back up to his feet. No whistle though, play on. Manchester City holding on to possession. Rodri gives it short to Phil Foden, and then O'Reilly will give it back to Guardiola, and City try to just soothe into a familiar pattern here as they hold possession just outside the Monaco penalty area. Good challenge comes in on O'Reilly. Kliush is able to clear it up towards Balogun. Monaco, they're still inside their own half as news reaches us of a goal at the Emirates. Arsenal against Olympiacos. Here's Chris Goals.
He should have scored 10 minutes ago. He has scored now. Gabriel Martinelli gives Arsenal the lead. All the work done by Victor Gyökeres. He was played through, bullied the 2 defenders, finished really nicely, but hit the post, and Martinelli was there to pick up the rebound. Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0.
Thanks very much, Chris. Martinelli, who's started the season well, scoring some important goals, and has Arsenal in front this evening. Newcastle winning earlier on. Manchester City scoreless so far. 13 minutes on the clock at the Stade Louis II in Monte Carlo, and it is going to be a throw-in for City on the far side for Nico O'Reilly. And Nico O'Reilly, who increasingly being trusted by Pep Guardiola for the big games. Obviously Ryan Aït-Nouri was brought in to be the left back this season, and he's expected to be fit again after the international break, but O'Reilly's done himself no harm with his chance to the first team, Chris.
Yeah, and Rodri just got away with one there, Koulibaly putting him under pressure on the halfway line. Yeah, O'Reilly's been good. That will be really interesting when Nouri comes back and is fit again, who will get the nod, but Pep Guardiola in a pretty good position with regards to his left backs.
Obviously too many stats in football, but one I read this week which stood out for me is that any Premier League game that Nico O'Reilly has started, he's never been on the losing side. So he's obviously not a huge sample size there, only breaking into the team last season, but whenever he started, and let's face it, City lost a lot of games last season, but when he started, they haven't been beaten. Back to the Championship, Millwall against Coventry, back to Andy Stevenson. Oh, hang on, Andy, because we've got to tell you about a brilliant Haaland goal here. Manchester City have taken the lead inside quarter of an hour, and for the 51st time in the Champions League, it's an Erling Haaland goal. It looped and spun up over the goalkeeper, and almost a surprise element to that goal. It was dinked forward, Haaland onto it, and it's a lovely guided touch over the keeper. Classic Haaland goal. Manchester City lead in Monaco.
You know what, Connor? I don't know whether that's his first touch or not. He's barely touched the ball, but I reckon it may well be. It's a brilliant run. He's in between Salisu and Eric Dyer, just positions himself, makes a dart in between the two Monaco defenders. The ball from Gvardiol just dinked over that back line, and Haaland lifts the ball superbly over Cone in the Monaco goal. Barely had a touch. If that was his first touch, what a touch. What a start to the season. And what a cool finish. Wonderful start for Manchester City.
All right, well, we figure out if it was his first touch or not. Let's go to Millwall, Andy Stevenson.
Unbeaten Coventry have the lead here, Connor. It's Hadji Wright again. Brandon Thomas Asante went wide round the keeper, having been gifted the ball by the Millwall defence, but crossed unselfishly for Wright to tap in. Millwall 0, Coventry 1.
Thanks very much. Manchester City leading in the Champions League. Ansu Fati plays a good ball in front of Akliouche, but he's closed down by Nico O'Reilly just before he could get into the penalty area. Good acceleration from O'Reilly to get back and challenge Akliouche, who has scored 2 league goals in France this season.
Yeah, just looked for a second like Akliouche was going to get away from O'Reilly, but O'Reilly put the burners on. Really important challenge.
You're going to enjoy this, Chris. Erling Haaland has had 1 touch in the game, and that was the touch that scored the goal.
That's
well
unbelievable.
spotted. So 1 touch is all he's needed tonight, as the Monaco corner is played in. Donnarumma with the punch, right-fisted. It was a lovely ball into the penalty area. Haaland just reacted much quicker than any of the Monaco defenders. And Manchester City will be delighted with that goal. And you know, history tells us over the years, if City score early, they can often take teams to the cleaners. Sometimes if you hold them scoreless for the first 50 minutes thereabout, the panic can creep in a little bit. But this will be a very relaxing start for Pep Guardiola's team. Here's a chance. Good cross in from the left-hand side from Akliouche. And Balogun was a whisker away. Donnarumma had come out towards it. Any touch from Balogun, it would have been lobbed over him into an empty net. But the striker didn't get a touch, and the cross drifted away on the far side.
That was Akliouche on the left-hand side there. I wonder whether Balogun, just for a second, wonderful ball in from the left, whether Balogun had just caught Donnarumma in his eye line and he couldn't get the touch, didn't get the touch, maybe a bit of fear from Donnarumma and his presence, should have scored.
Here come Monaco trying to recover from what's been a disappointing start for them. It was Guardiola's pass that set up Erling Haaland, so the assist for the Croatian. Here is Diatta to the byline, left-hand side for Monaco, pulls it back for Teze. That's a brilliant goal! He's hit it 3 yards outside the penalty area, almost in the top corner. And despite the despairing dive from Gianluigi Donnarumma, that is hit so well from Jordan Teze on his birthday. 26 today. It's only his 3rd ever goal for Monaco. His first in almost a year. That is a brilliant strike. It's Monaco 1, Manchester City 1.
Oh, what a gift on his birthday to give to his teammates. It's a brilliant finish. Right-footed, left-hand side of the box. He must be 22, 23 yards out. Bends the ball past Donnarumma at his near post, right into the top corner. Donnarumma, his massive frame, he's at full stretch. He gets nowhere near it. It's as if the goal from Manchester City has sparked Monaco into life, and they're level. What a wonderful goal.
Tell you what, we've got ourselves a game of football here. 20 minutes in, Monaco 1, Manchester City 1. VAR is just signing off on it, but I think the goal is going to be okay. I can't see the reason why that wouldn't stand. and yet confirmation the goal is legit, and the French team have got it back to 1-1. So Erling Haaland scoring after 15 minutes, and City only led for a total of 3 minutes before that Teze equalised, which, I was impressed with the Haaland goal, but that was a superb finish from Jordan Teze. So that's certainly livened up the mood here. What about Barcelona against Paris Saint-Germain? Back to John Akers.
Barcelona are ahead. Barcelona 1, PSG 0. Ferran Torres, who's had a couple of sighters in this game so far, they're going to check it for offside. He looked straight away to the assistant to see if the flag had gone up, but it didn't. They will do a check on this, but Lamine Yamal has run the show so far. Super finish across the keeper. Looks onside on the first replay I've seen. Barca 1, PSG 0.
Thanks very much, John. 1-1 here in Monte Carlo. We've got a break in play. One of the Monaco players is down, and looks like he's going to need some treatment. Ferran Torres scoring there for Barcelona, a former Manchester City player, of course. But two very good goals here, Chris. Bodes well for the next hour and a half.
Yep, Haaland hadn't had a touch. His movement, I've got to say, as good as the goal was, really poor defending from Monaco. If you're Salisu and Eric Dyer, you know what Erling Haaland is going to try and do. Is going to try and run in behind. That's a feature of his game, best part of his game in my view. And his finish was brilliant. The pass was wonderful, but the equaliser from Teze, wonderful finish. Donnarumma, absolutely no chance in the Manchester City goal. And we said last night, I think we fancied goals in this game. You see both sides start to the season. Good comeback from Monaco. Got a bit of a problem here though with Vanderson, who I initially thought Doku had stood on his foot. He hadn't. There was no real contact, and I think he'll be struggling to stay on. It looked like maybe a twisted knee or whatever, but the fact that there was no contact, it wasn't a blow, that doesn't bode well, and he will be a loss for Monaco.
That will be concerning for Monaco, who, you have to say they reacted so well, having conceded that Haaland goal. Some teams might go into a shell a little bit, but they immediately came out on the front foot and got rewarded so quickly with a goal. Right, they're going to decide what to do here. Looks like they might well be preparing to make a change, Monaco. While we wait to get back underway, let's check in with events at the Emirates tonight in the Champions League. Arsenal, Olympiacos, Chris Coles.
Arsenal continue to lead by 1-0. They have dominated this game, but Olympiacos should be level. They would be had it not been for David Raya. Terrific save to deny the former Wolves winger Daniel Podence arriving late at the back post. His volley looked in all the way. Raya somehow clawing it over. It's a terrific save to keep it at Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0.
Thanks very much, Chris. So yes, unfortunately Vanderson's not able to continue. Kasum Ouattara has come on instead. Good ball into the penalty area from Monaco. Header one of the far post, but it just sat up in front of Donnarumma, and he was able to come and gather, and that was actually the defender Mohamed Salisu who'd made a run, almost a swashbuckling run forward. And in fact, I think Salisu, they might have changed the defence now. I think he's gone to play in midfield, Chris, because Ouattara, who's come on, we'll come back to that in just a moment, but Ouattara, who's come on, is a left back, so he's got to play on the left hand side of the midfield. No, Salisu is going to be in alongside Dyer.
Diatta's gone from left wing back to right wing back.
Yeah, so Diatta has gone over to play where Vanderson was, but that could be good news for Jeremy Doku, because up against the specialist right wing back in Vanderson, he's now up against a more attacking left-sided player who's having to slot in at right-sided defence for Monaco now. That could be welcoming news for Jeremy Doku. 1-1 here on 5 Live on BBC Sounds. Nico O'Reilly in possession for Manchester City, gives it to Rodri. Lovely ball out to the near touchline to Bernardo Silva. Right wing of City come forward, gets to the byline, looks up, short pass back to John Stones. Didn't seem to control it well. Stones invited a challenge to come in immediately from Koulibaly, and Monaco are able to regain possession, but they don't hold on to it. The ball is kicked out of play, and that's a throw-in for Manchester City near the halfway line. Applause from Pep Guardiola down there. City have possession in the middle of the park. This is Nico O'Reilly, gives it to Rodri. Rodri ostensibly the defensive midfielder, and of course he does such good work in disrupting opponents, but it's passes like the one he did to Bernardo Silva a moment ago, like the one he's just done here to Phil Foden, who doesn't control, but he's able to break through the lines, is Rodri, as Balogun in a race here with Ruben Diaz, and he nearly beats Ruben Diaz, and then Donnarumma comes out of his net and gives the ball to Akliouche, who can't get the shot away. Donnarumma's got to scamper to get back on his goal line again, and Monaco still have it just inside the penalty area, but a disappointing pass returns it to the Italian goalkeeper, and Manchester City looked a little bit in disarray there in defence. 1-1.
Well, they did, and that's the plan, I think, from Monaco. Quick turnover, and then balls in behind that Manchester City back line. God, I say, Balogun took 3 yards out of Diaz in that foot race. Absolutely rapid he was, and unfortunate not to go through there, but that's a warning sign for City. Their back line, those centre-backs especially, and John Stones, they need to make sure they drop early when Monaco do win the ball back.
Yeah, Ruben Diaz it looked like he was running with water up to his knees there. He just couldn't accelerate to keep up with the pacey follower in Balogun. City survived that anyway, and this is Foden, tries to play a ball into Gianni Reinders, sits up for Bernardo Silva, shot on target against his old team, but a comfortable hide for Philip Cohn, and the Swiss goalkeeper is able to gather it. It was edge of the penalty area, he hit it left-footed and swerving, but not quite the sweet strike that Bernardo Silva would have been hoping for.
Phil Foden, I've got to say, in the early stages, looks as sharp as anything, picking up some really good spaces in behind that Monaco midfield.
It's a good capture by Koulibaly down the left-hand side. He's unlucky there. The ball was right along the chalk of the sideline for about 30 yards. It just stayed on the line, and then he did a little nutmeg of body. He would have been through, but the official decided right at the last instant that all of the ball had gone over all of the line, and it's a throw into Manchester City. But otherwise, Koulibaly might have been through there. Yeah, Phil Foden has started well. Let's look at the stats in the last game. He created 8 chances against Napoli in the opening game. Phil Foden does look to have a really good body language about him at the moment. He's back sort of enjoying his football, you can tell. Here he is in possession near the halfway line. Manchester City all in black, playing left to right as we look down tonight. 5 Live and BBC Sounds in the Principality of Monaco. We had our dinner last night beside the big yachts in the harbour. Chris was deciding which one he might buy.
Well, yeah, another sort of decade working for the BBC, and you never know, Connor.
You never ever know. This is to Gianni Reinders near the centre circle, gives it to Bernardo Silva, touching to John Stones. Reinders had continued his run really well there, but Bernardo Silva didn't see him. Bernardo Silva wearing the captain's armband, gives it into Rodri, onto Doku, tries to turn against Tilo Kehrer, and Monaco regain possession, but they're still midway inside their own half. Ansu Fati gives it out to the far side. Diatta running up to the halfway line. Doku trying to keep up with him, has been left in his wake. Rodri comes across. Diatta says I'll take on him too. Now he takes on Nico O'Reilly. It's a great run this from Diatta. He started it way back inside his own half. He's got all the way to the byline. He's still going, and eventually he loses out to a combination of Rodri and O'Reilly.
Yeah, Doku gave up eventually, didn't he? Rodri didn't have the legs, but I didn't realise O'Reilly was that quick.
He's very fast. So yeah, Doku did give up. I mean, if that was Bruno Fernandes or someone, he'd be slated for giving up there. Here comes John Stones, gives it to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side, just outside the penalty area. City attack. Stones remains forward. Returns a pass to Rodri, now on to Foden. Monaco have been able to get a full complement of defenders back around the edge of the box. Rodri keeps it moving. Ruben Diaz back out to Nico O'Reilly on the left-hand side. And then Guardiola back to Ruben Diaz again. Neat, short, triangular passing from Manchester City to Gianni Reinders into Foden. Lovely first-time ball to John Stones. Tries to prod it on to Erling Haaland, but he can't pick him out, and Monaco get it away. I mean, you spotted it, Chris, at the moment it happened, that it was Erling Haaland's first touch of the ball when he scored the goal. I'm not sure he's had another one since.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I mean, we're so sort of used to seeing this from Erling Haaland, aren't we? And, a lot of talk, especially in the early days at Manchester City, about, how can they get the best out of him? He's not having enough touches, but when he does touch the ball, invariably it ends up in the back of the net. That's a good thing.
Just look at the stats here. We get great stats in the Champions League. You can see touch maps and stuff, and I think that's been his only touch of the ball, Erling Haaland. We've played 28 minutes now. One touch of the ball, and he scores a goal with it. That goal, though, very quickly cancelled out by Jordan Teze. And 1-1 it lies for the moment in the Champions League on the Riviera this evening. Here's Foden, chance to roll it in front of Haaland. Good interception by Mohamed Salisu. Haaland had reacted well. He was ready to get on the end of that, but it was cut out just ahead of him. And it is, just confirmation. One touch for Erling Haaland tonight. Nearly in again. Salisu blocking it again, stretching out those long, spidery legs of his. At the moment, Monaco can't clear it. To Gianni Reinders. Shooting position, very close. About a foot and a half wide. He claims it took a deflection and it should be a corner. The officials say no, that's going to be a goal kick, but that was closer to Gianni Reinders.
Good little dribble from Reinders. Goes past a couple of Monaco defenders. Little shift onto his left foot, and maybe it takes a slight deflection, not far wide of Cohen's right-hand post. Where I've got to say, Phil Foden has taken up some excellent positions for Manchester City. He's knitted everything together. Monaco have to watch him. Don't give him too much time and freedom. Nearly finding Erling Haaland there with the pass as well. He's had an excellent start to the game, Foden.
Tomorrow at 8 o'clock we'll have a bumper to our Euro Leagues with Steve Crossman and the team. They'll be recapping this week's Champions League matches and updates as well from the Europa League games that are taking place tomorrow. And a reminder that the latest 72 Plus pod is out today. Aaron Paul, Joby McAnuff and Phil Brown talking about Chris Wilder and Steve Cottrell and about Wilder's wild moment as he was sent off against Southampton. That's all on the latest 72 Plus pod, which is out and available today. Right, Barcelona against Paris Saint-Germain. What's the latest? John Akers.
Barcelona 1, PSG 0, and Barcelona have had some good chances. Rashford has had a shot cleared away with the keeper beaten. Wasn't quite on the line, but a few yards off. Olmo, a right foot shot from 20 yards, deflected wide. PSG so far, Barcala's got into a good position, but a heavy touch let him down, and Zabani's had a head over the crossbar from a corner. Barca 1, PSG 0.
Manchester City on the attack here. Bernardo Silva with a clever header back across the goal mouth, but City couldn't get anyone else on the end of it after Rodri had played another delicious ball into the box. And Manchester City looking good to add to the one goal they've already scored so far. They've been dangerous in around the Monaco penalty area.
Yeah,
Chris Sutton's with me.
I didn't think the header was that clever, actually. He took up a good position. Rodri just stabbed the ball up to the far post, and Huatara sort of lost Bernardo Silva for a second. Bernardo Silva trying to cushion the ball across to Haaland at the far post, but too heavy with the header.
Too much on it. This is Haaland stretching, but he's coming from an offside position, and that is a free kick to Monaco. 10 yards inside their own half. So goals elsewhere in the Champions League this evening. Dortmund have taken the lead at home against Atletico Madrid. Villarreal are leading at home against Juventus. Villarreal 1, Juve 0. It's still 0-0 between Napoli and Sporting. Leverkusen and PSV. Earlier on today, Newcastle had a 4-0 win away in Belgium. There's Thilo Kehrer, German international, who was sent off in the French League at the weekend. Sent off inside the first half of what was a defeat in the end for Monaco. John Stones has it for Manchester City on the halfway line. Gives it short to Rodri. Rodri has looked sharp tonight. Looks like he's had the benefit of that rest, missing the Premier League game against Burnley at the weekend. Ruben Diaz has it on the halfway line. Gives it short back again to Rodri. Rodri back to Ruben Diaz. Monaco, no high press really at all. They're happy for City to have it in the central third here. They only get close once City enter the final third. Stones has it, gives it to the right wing to Bernardo Silva. He'll be now tracked by Kassim Ouattara. Back to Stones again, outside of the right boot to Phil Foden. Back to Tijani Reinders, right hand side of the midfield. 10 yards outside the penalty area, the Manchester City attack. Bernardo Silva will spray it backwards. Back to Ruben Diaz, his fellow Portuguese international. Back out to Tijani Reinders. Good first time ball, but Bernardo Silva hadn't anticipated it, and it'll be cleared away by Salisu. But this is the problem for Monaco. They clear it away, they just give it back to Manchester City every time.
Yes, wave after wave, isn't it, from Manchester City, controlling the game, controlling the possession. But in fairness, when Monaco do win the ball back, they have been a danger. But Phil Foden causing all sorts of problems, just drifting into the back of that Monaco midfield. The issue Monaco have is that one of the three centre-halves doesn't want to come out and mark Phil Foden, hence he's on the ball again.
Here is Foden into the penalty area, right-footed shot slams off the crossbar, and it bounced down almost in front of Erling Haaland, but he couldn't get the shot in. You cannot get any closer than that from Phil Foden to scoring. He's walloped the underside of the bar. Here comes City again. O'Reilly into the penalty area. Eric Dyer with a calming header down, and Diatta tries to clear away but can only give it straight to Ruben Diaz. That would have been something special from Phil Foden.
Great position, half turn, drives into the box, and right-footed, his weaker right foot nearly breaks a crossbar, absolutely cannoned off the underside of the bar into safety, but he's the danger. Massive problem, Monaco. There he goes again.
Foden trying to get on to the end of another pass on the edge of the box, but it's taken away from him by Ouattara, and Ouattara didn't even try to slam it away that time. He's just given the ball to John Stones. Monaco's sitting really deep. They reacted so well when Erling Haaland scored the opening goal in the 15th minute. But once they've got their equaliser and made it 1-1 again, they've very much fallen back into a solid defensive system. As he's at it again. Foden bursts into the penalty area, crosses in low. Tilo Kehrer with the header, only as far as O'Reilly. Comes to Bernardo Silva, flicks it back to Rodri, who tries a difficult manoeuvre, chested it, and then shot on the volley, and he puts that shot wide of the target. 1-1 here.
Yeah, slightly rushed from Rodri there, off his chest. A snapshot, but just watching this Phil Foden opportunity again, it's a brilliant little shift onto his right foot, and 12 yards out, right hand side of the box, he hammers the shot off the underside of the bar. But normally you see when Crystal Palace play their back three, one of the centre halves, they'll go and jump in on a midfielder. Monaco deciding, well, we're just going to keep our shape. Manchester City making the most of that numerical advantage.
Can I ask you something about Phil Foden shot in just a moment, but Monaco are on the attack. Clever back heel, Akliouche into the penalty area, just too far in front of Balogun, who tries to keep it alive, tries to cross from the right hand side. It's blocked down by Guardiola. Monaco hold on to possession. Kehrer up midway through the City half, has it right hand side of the pitches. Monaco come forward. Akliouche now takes it over with the bright orange boots. Most of the Monaco players do wear the same bright orange boots. As this is Akliouche back into the centre circle again, into Eric Dyer, and then he's got Salisu available on his left-hand side. Monaco could probably do with a patch of possession inside their opponent's half here. Ansu Fati holds off Bernardo Silva, fouled by Tijani Reinders, free kick to Monaco, 15 yards inside their opponent's half.
You know what, the thing about Monaco though, that you do feel that they can hurt Manchester City, but the back, they have that pace and that trickery. Akliouche off that right-hand side, trying to always shift the ball onto his left. You feel that they can get at that Manchester City back line, and there's a vulnerability about them. It's interesting, wasn't it? Manchester City scored, and all of a sudden Monaco thought, well, we'll start playing now, and now they've gone back to sort of type, well, we'll sit in, and then we'll try and counter, but yeah, they haven't had enough control of the game.
I do want to go back and ask you about that Phil Foden shot, but Monaco have got an attacking free kick here, so we'll stick with this. Teze, the goal scorer, plays it in, dangerously bounces in front of Donnarumma. He didn't commit himself, any touch from Dyer, and the Italian would have been in trouble, but it was missed by Dyer, and it bounced up into the gloves of Donnarumma. Right, here's what I ask you about Phil Foden's shot. So you know the no-look pass, so you're sort of looking to your right and you pass it to the left, right? I think Phil Foden there did a no-look shot. I think as the ball's coming in, he wants the keeper to think, oh, he's going to cut back here. Because I saw the replay, he's completely looking the other way as he kicks the ball.
Well, all I would say about that, Connor, is if he was looking, he may have scored. So, maybe look when you shoot.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I did. I've got to say, I didn't notice that, but great spot.
If we see the well, I'm interested in your view. Maybe I'm talking crazy, but that's what it looked like to me. We know that he sometimes likes to cut back at himself. Maybe he's trying to give the keeper that illusion. Here's a chance. O'Reilly shot, saved by Cohn. Pushed it away as well. Good goalkeeping. Foden set that one up. And Nico O'Reilly kept his shot low on target, but that was saved away. 1-1 it remains. 10 minutes to go to half-time in Monte Carlo.
When is the penny going to drop? The Monaco manager, Hooter, because Foden is causing all sorts of problems. Little give and go there. O'Reilly tries to place the ball, beat Cohn at his near post, but Cohn, good diving save down to his right-hand side, but Phil Foden is getting too much freedom, and Monaco, they cannot cope, they cannot deal with it.
Diatta flicks the ball forward. This is Mamadou Koulibaly in the midfield, only made his first team debut in May. He's 21 years of age, Koulibaly. A lot of youngsters in the team. As Eric Dyer have possession, I think Monaco would have got a free kick for a fellow Koulibaly there, but play on because they have the ball, and it's looped over the top, and Diatta's going to sprint. He's done really well to keep that in play. I didn't think he was going to get there, Diatta, and then he goes around O'Reilly, and he was almost into the penalty area before he decided himself to just chop the turn and give it to Akliouche. That was really good from Diatta. He's got some serious gas as Koulibaly gets it here in the midfield and rolls it back to Eric Dyer again.
He's absolutely pegged about 60, 70 yards to keep the ball in, and then went again past O'Reilly.
Balogun commits a foul on Guardiola on the edge of the box, and that is going to be a free kick to Manchester City. And all the defenders are disappointed with the fourth official there. I think they thought that Diatta was in an offside position when he made that really long run. There is a yellow card for Donnarumma, and I can only assume it's for... Is it for time wasting? Surely he's too far away to have said anything to the referee there. Or maybe was it something he said to the assist?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. But either way, it's a yellow card for Donnarumma.
Yeah, enjoyed Guardiola there. He's trying to step across the referee after the referee had brandished the yellow card to sort of say, well, I'm not letting you through, to Donnarumma to give him that, but he soon moved out of the way.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they did complain to the assistant, so maybe that was it. Barcelona against Paris Saint-Germain. John Akers.
PSG are level. Barcelona 1, PSG 1. Maulu with a brilliant finish, edge of the area, left-footed, past the goalkeeper. It had been coming. Barcelona 1, PSG 1.
And it is half-time in the Millwall against Coventry game. Andy Stevenson.
Coventry lead at the break. Goal number 7 of the season for Haji Wright. A tap-in after Brandon Thomas Asante nicked the ball off Millwall centre-back Tristan Kramer. Millwall 0, Coventry 1.
At half-time at Carrow Road, Norwich City 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. That didn't go down well in this commentary box. At Portsmouth leading Watford 1-0 at home, and it is still 0-0 between Queen's Park Rangers and Oxford. That was an 8 o'clock kickoff, so they haven't reached half-time yet.
Norwich have lost every home game, I think.
I thought there was more coming there. It's just venting.
Just stating a fact.
There we go. Right, okay.
Quite upset about it, really.
Right, well, hopefully better news to come as the evening progresses for Chris from Carrow Road here in Monte Carlo. Even when he's in Monte Carlo, his heart is at home. This is Phil Foden rolling the ball back to Rodri, deepest lying outfield player for City at the moment. Josko Guardiola to his left, on to Nico O'Reilly. If you're just joining our coverage, Erling Haaland with a quite brilliant goal put Manchester City in front, but an even better goal from Jordan Teze has it 1-1 here in the Champions League tonight. City, who haven't won away from home in the Champions League in over a year, and Pep Guardiola will be concerned if they don't return to Manchester with the win here, having beaten Napoli impressively on home turf in their opening game in this league phase of the Champions League. Bernardo Silva plays it infield to Rodri again. Head up, scanning the options, gives it short to Guardiola, onto Gianni Reinders, who's taken up a position on the left-hand side of the midfield now. He'll roll it back to John Stones. City holding possession very comfortably. Monaco not up in their faces. They're only worried about shutting City down if City try to actually get into the final third. Guardiola, low ball into Foden, now to O'Reilly, miscontrol from O'Reilly, so Diatta will take it away from him. Akliouche, midway inside his own half, has got 2 to take on. He goes through the legs of Guardiola and he slips, and he wants a free kick, but he doesn't get it.
I thought he dived, trying to drive his team up the pitch. He was all on his own out on that right-hand side. Akliouche, I think they're a contender with a simulation game this weekend on 606 Connor.
O'Reilly's back up on his feet. He had been slow to recover from a knock earlier. Akliouche, we'll keep our eye out for the replay of that. Was it as bad a dive as Chris is suggesting? City have it. Rodri, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Foden just prods it out to the right wing to Bernardo Silva, glides infield, chops back at himself a couple of times, trying to wriggle free of the attention of 3 defenders. Monaco do get really close to City if they're anywhere around the penalty area, but they're giving them space everywhere else in the park as Foden has it. Good challenge there comes in from Ansu Fati, but Foden's too strong and he holds on to the ball, dribbles into the penalty area. Little drag him, but it was only a brief one, so he didn't go down and the referee didn't blow the whistle, and City still have it. And it's Bernardo Silva crossing for the right hand side, sits up for Reinders, saved, Haaland, and it's into the side netting. Good shot from Gianni Reinders, excellent save, Philip Cohn again, and the angle was really tight from Haaland and he could only put it into the side netting. 1-1.
Yeah, first thing Bernardo Silva has done positively for Manchester City, quick turn near the byline and he pulls the ball back, and Reinders, it's a decent shot. He doesn't catch it flush with his right foot. Couple of bobbles. And Cohn, it's an awkward dive. He keeps it out and the ball's just running away from goal, and Erling Haaland can't get that long left leg around it and on target.
It was close though. And City, who've hit the crossbar through Phil Foden, coming close there through Erling Haaland. 1-1 it remains. Akliouche has looked dangerous when he comes forward. Has it on the left wing for Monaco here. Gives it back into the midfield. This is Jordan Teze. Not a million miles from where he shot earlier. This time he tries to roll in a pass to Ansu Fati, but it skims away from the Spaniard. And out it goes for a goal kick for Manchester City. It's 1-1 with just a couple of minutes remaining in this first half.
Akliouche, he's actually been a threat, hasn't he? Drifting sort of over to the left on that occasion. 1 cap for France so far, but he looks a fine young player, he does.
Yep, scored in home wins here against Strasbourg and Le Havre since the start of the season. Made his international debut for France in a World Cup qualifier against Ukraine last month. Looks the business, 23 years of age. City who've had the lead, but Monaco getting back at them for 1-1. Here comes Nico O'Reilly. 10 yards away from the penalty area, the City attack. City playing left to right as we look down. Jeremy Doku gets it on the left wing up against Crepin Diatta. Holds on to possession here. Doku, supported by Guardiola, returns it to the Belgian just outside the penalty area, rolls it for Phil Foden, who's in the box. Dyer went with him, so no space. Back out of the penalty area to O'Reilly, hangs it in. Brilliant header from Erling Haaland, who leapt like an NBA basketball player. He hung in the air and he planted the header right into the bottom corner. So difficult for Philip Cohn to save. Tonight, goals number 51 and 52 in the Champions League for Erling Haaland. That is a classy finish, and what a start to the season he's having. That's 11 goals for City now this campaign for their Norwegian number 9.
Yeah, it's well played from Phil Foden again, drifting into the left-hand side of the box, pops it back to O'Reilly. That's where their threat has come from, the left-hand side. You mentioned Erling Haaland's hang time. It's a superb header. The ball isn't fired in, it's just stood up, and Haaland's the best part of 12 yards out. He gets up so early. Salisu just cannot live with him, but then he has to get the pace and the direction on the header. It is a classic centre-forwards header, a wonderful goal. He made it look easy. What a start to the season. He has been colossal, Erling Haaland.
Monaco 1, Manchester City 2. There are not many who can hang in the air like that. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo was famously one of the best at it. But Erling Haaland leaping and staying up there, and then not just getting his forehead to it, but accurately planting it into that bottom corner. That's an almost unsavable goal, really. He's taken that so well. So 2 goals from Haaland, which if you take his tally for club and country, he's now up to 17 goals in 10 games this season. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the stats. As we move into the solitary minute being added on for stoppages here, and Diatta attacking for Monaco. Now, the last time they went behind, they reacted really well. Teze here, 10 yards outside the penalty area, gives it to Akliouche on the right-hand side. He's up against Jeremy Doku, who's back helping out the defence. Hangs in a dangerous cross, but Guardiola deals with it, jumps up and propels a backward header, putting it out for a corner to Monaco in stoppages at the end of this first half.
Isn't it amazing, the psychology of Monaco? They're sort of saying, well, we'll wait till we go a goal behind and then we'll throw bodies forward again. Just for a second, when you said Cristiano Ronaldo, I thought you were going to say Chris Sutton. With the
yeah,
time,
I don't remember that. No, right, no, I don't remember that. No, hang time. No. Were you able to get off the ground? Corner to Monaco on the left-hand side. Short run up, a booming delivery by Teze though towards the back post. Guardiola does well in the air. It's nodded back in by Koulibaly, but that's easy pickings for Donnarumma, who comes and gathers it. I mean, most of your headers would have been in defence, really, Chris, that I can remember.
Yeah, slightly disappointed. You obviously didn't see the early part of the Premier League.
The black and white, yeah. Right, there is the whistle for half-time. 2-1. Decent game this, actually. Manchester City taking the lead after a lovely pass from Guardiola was touched on over the goalkeeper, a lobbed finish from Erling Haaland. Monaco reacting, thunderous strike to the top corner from Jordan Teze, his first Champions League goal for the club. But Haaland was to have the final say of this first half with a leaping, I mean, dare I say it, Chris Sutton-esque header to make it Monaco 1, Manchester City 2.
Well, I think you're bang on there. No, the difference has been Haaland. I say the difference has been Haaland. His finishes have been absolutely top draw. Hasn't had too many touches, but Manchester City deserve the lead. What I would say, this game isn't over because Monaco have shown enough going forward that they can hurt this Manchester City backline. They look a threat going forward, but Manchester City sort of comfortably in front. They've controlled the first half, but still work to do. Yeah,
from an entertainment point of view, I think it's going to be better now second half that Monaco will start 2-1 down because that they might attack a bit more. When it was 1-1, they really were just sitting in. But that rarely works against this City team. And at half-time, it's Monaco 1, Manchester City 2.
I'll back you on that, Chris. There was the odd header like that, wasn't there, back in the day?
Thanks, Mark. You don't have to say back in the day. You don't even have to say that. You
right.
Just say there was the odd header.
There was the odd header. It was a cracky header as well, wasn't it?
It was, because it was a ball just... It wasn't fizzed in with any great pace from O'Reilly. It was just stood up, and they're virtually standing on the penalty spot, and he leaps so early. You know, Connor described it well as sort of like a basketball player. Got up so early. Salisu, didn't get near him really, and then that power to actually hang in the air and then place the header, went into the side netting past Cohn, who got absolutely nowhere near it. It was a brilliant goal, but he's been brilliant at the start of this season. His first goal, hadn't touched the ball, and all of a sudden he's made that movement in behind, and a wonderful finish. But then Monaco are an odd team, aren't they? And then all of a sudden they livened up, scored a brilliant goal. But it's been a good watch. I've enjoyed it, and it's not sort of done yet because you don't quite know what to expect from this Monaco team.
You don't. Mind you, to refer to something else in the commentary, there was also periods of your career when you did a lot of no-look shooting. Thank you very much. Second half on the way. Arsenal, Olympiacos, Chris Coles.
Arsenal are in front, Mark, by a 1-0. They deserve to be leading, but they've had some excellent chances. This game could already be won. The goal from Gabriel Martinelli atoning for an earlier missed header. He couldn't really miss the one he scored, tapping in after Gyökeres' initial effort came back off the post. He's had two further decent openings, has Gyökeres. One blocked, one fired over. Gabriel also close with a back post header. The best moment for Olympiacos forced a brilliant David Raya save. Pudence's volley arriving late at the back post, heading for the top corner. Raya with the acrobats to superbly tip over. So a half-time lead for Arsenal, but not as convincing as it could have been. Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0.
All square between Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain at the break. John Akers.
Barcelona 1, PSG 1. It's been a really good half of football and very, very even. 57% possession for Barcelona. Both have had 2 shots on target. It's been a good game of football. Barcelona taking the lead after a brilliant ball from Lamine Yamal with the outside of his foot, and Ferran Torres with a really nice finish. In fact, it was Rashford's pass and his finish. Lamine Yamal put him in just before that. And then PSG with the equaliser, Mayula. It was a really nice piece of skill on the edge of the area. Took it just inside the area, centre of the goal, left-footed, put it past the goalkeeper. And Barcola was in a really good position near the end of the half, but couldn't do anything with it for PSG. Barcelona 1, PSG 1.
Lovely ball from Marcus Rashford to set that goal up for Barcelona. Speaking of, what are they? Current stroke, could be former Manchester United strikers, John Bennett. Napoli are playing to Rasmus Højlund's strengths. Who'd have thought it?
Yet another former Manchester United player doing well at Napoli. Yeah, Rasmus Højlund's got the only goal for Napoli. Napoli won, Sporting 0, and it was a former Manchester City player threading it through to the former Manchester United player, Kevin De Bruyne, with a wonderful assist. Vintage Kevin De Bruyne picking it up just outside his own penalty area, driving forward. Lovely pass to Højlund, who scored. Very difficult wet conditions at Napoli Stadium, but at the moment, Napoli on top. Napoli 1, Sporting 0.
Yeah, ball played into the channel for him to run on, and he finished it. What else?
Borussia Dortmund 1, Athletic Club 0. Daniel Svensson with his first Champions League goal. Karim Adeyemi with a lovely cross. Bayer Leverkusen 0, PSV 0. Bayer Leverkusen lucky to be 0-0 because it was a goal disallowed for PSV. Ivan Perisic found the back of the net, but it was offside. And Juventus struggling against Villarreal. George Mikitadze has scored. Juve drew their opening game, so they're under pressure here, but it's Villarreal 1, Juventus 0.
Thank you, John. Earlier in the Champions League, Karabag beat Copenhagen 2-0. Newcastle won 4-0 away to Union Saint-Gilloise. We will hear from Eddie Howe during half-time. There are games in the Championship this evening. Coventry lead at Millwall by a goal to 0. They're just into the second half there. Norwich 0, West Brom 1. Watford have just equalised at Fratton Park against Portsmouth. Half-time at Loftus Road. It's goalless between QPR and Oxford. In the National League this evening, all of these games into the second halves. Altrincham 0, Tamworth 0, Boston 0, Forest Green Rovers 0, Wealdstone are 2-0 up at Brackley, Carlisle 1, Hartlepool 1, Rochdale maybe rather surprisingly trail 1-0 at home to Halifax, and it's York 0, Scunthorpe 1. One game in the Scottish Women's Premier League this evening. Hibs 1, Glasgow City 1. Matt Upson joins us. Will be part of our debrief after 10 o'clock tonight. The two Erling Haaland goals, yep, Matt, are just perfect centre-forward play, aren't they?
Absolutely. Totally agree. Beautiful, weren't they? I mean, just... It's hard to describe the impact this guy does have on the game, isn't it? I mean, the goals come, but in the manner that he does it, and it's like it's the worst type of player to play against because you don't realise you're in a game with him until it's too late. So that there's no opportunities for the centre half to really get his measure in and have a tussle with him or touch the ball
because he hadn't touched the ball.
He hasn't touched it
until he scored the goal. He hadn't touched the ball.
No. So you're cold, aren't you? You kind of think you actually, in dream world of like, I'm doing okay here, I've got him under control, and then all of a sudden, bang, the movement, the sharpness, the power, it's like a surge, isn't it? And nobody seems to be able to cope with it, and you can understand why. And the second one, Chappers, was just to generate that kind of power from a ball that had no pace on it. You've got to have some strength in your body, because he was holding that kind of height for the header, and then he had the power to be able to get that contact and got it. It was just a superb header.
Maybe we'll expand on this after 10, but you are right on the first goal. If you look at one of the replays, he's not far off standing still or walking for the 2 or 3 seconds until he obviously sees that channel and goes. And therefore, presumably, from a centre-half's point of view, you're kind of at a standing start as well. And his speed of thought gives him half a yard before he's even got his pace going.
Yeah, because he's picturing that gamble, isn't he? We as a centre-back, you're checking, you're scanning, you're judging your distances. Whereas he's got one thought in his mind, and he's going to hold it until the right moment. And he's kind of honed that time into perfection. But what comes with it is just a surge of physicality and pace that is unmatched. You don't see many centre forwards that big who can shift like him and jump like that. It's just a perfect kind of match that comes together. The only player I can liken it to back when I played was Thierry Henry, in a similar fashion, where he would kind of drift sometimes through the game or look like disinterested, and then all of a sudden, exactly like Haaland, he would just hit you with something that you just couldn't match. And it's world class. It's great to watch.
Thank you, Matt. More from Matt later on after 10 o'clock tonight, when we go through everything that's gone on in the Champions League this evening. So we'll hear from Eddie Howe in a little while. First of all, 4 minutes to 9, Paul Kiernan has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Metropolitan Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley has apologised for what he calls reprehensible behaviour inside his force, which has been exposed by a BBC Panorama investigation. Undercover filming at Charing Cross Police Station in central London revealed evidence of racism, misogyny and officers revelling in force. The Mayor of London is Sadiq Khan.
I've not seen the programme yet, nor has the Commissioner, but already action has been taken. Officers have been suspended. Officers are being investigated for gross misconduct and other offences. That custody unit has been broken up at Charing Cross Police Station. Every single custody unit across the city has been looked into. There should be no place in the police service for racism, for misogyny, for breaking the law.
You can watch Panorama Undercover in the Police on the iPlayer now or on BBC One at 9 o'clock this evening. The British Medical Association says members might work to rule after the government told GP surgeries in England to offer online appointment bookings throughout the day. The union's worried serious cases could be missed and that practice could be overwhelmed by requests. And police in Thailand say they've arrested a 23-year-old British man for alleged drug smuggling. Officials say George Wilson from Buckinghamshire was found with more than 9 kilograms of crystal meth in a Bangkok hotel room.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Manchester City 2-1 up at Monaco at the break. Arsenal lead Olympiacos by a goal to nil. Earlier, big win for Newcastle. They beat Union Saint-Gilloise 4-0 in Belgium. Harvey Barnes and Nick Voltemada with 2 of the goals, sandwiched in between them. 2 penalties from Anthony Gordon. Here's Eddie Howe.
Travelling out here, that's what we would have wanted, especially after the Arsenal ending. That was a big response from the players, because that was a painful way to lose that game, and the players had to dig deep and look within themselves and come out fighting again. That's what we do best, and I thought it was a really good display today. It was always going to be a tough game, but I think as soon as we got that first goal, it settled us down and we played really well. Anytime you get a clean sheet in the Champions League away from home, that's a good statement to make. And I think just generally how we attacked, there was a feeling we could score at any moment in the game. Okay, 2 of the goals have come from penalties, but we scored 4 away from home. We couldn't have asked any more than that, and there was some good individual performances as well, which was good to see. See all the goals tonight. BBC One from 10:40 with Champions League Match of the Day. Nader Manua, Nicky Butt and Rory Smith alongside Kelly for that one. We'll go from Newcastle's football team to their rugby union one, because Newcastle Red Bulls have parted company with their director of rugby, Steve Diamond, after just one game
of the new season, one Prem game of the new season. James Burridge, BBC's rugby union reporter, joins us now. Why now? Where's this timing come from?
Well, I think it's shocked and surprised quite a few of us, Mark, hasn't it? I mean, the season's already started. Many felt that Newcastle had decided to back Diamond. I mean, there were rumours. I mean, there's been talk about Gregor Townsend today, which we'll come on to in a moment. He'd been linked during the summer. And Diamond only had a one-year contract anyway. Many felt he'd been given the benefit of the doubt, given what he has done for Newcastle. 3 or 4 months ago, they were in a very dark place, Newcastle. They're losing their best players. They weren't winning games. This is a ruthless decision. I mean, the timing of it does make you wonder, why couldn't they have done this a few weeks ago? But I think it does demonstrate that Red Bull do not want to waste any time with this project. They want to get on with it.
So go on then, do come on to Gregor Townsend. I mean, there's so many things I could ask you about Steve Diamond, but we probably haven't got time here. So where
I'm not sure we got the time.
No, we could do it 2 hours. Where does Gregor Townsend fit in all of this then?
So he's the big name, isn't he, in terms of the announcement today. He's going to be a part-time advisor, not to the club directly, but to Red Bull. He's going to be advising on strategy and philosophy. But we all know that who he's going to be advising in the end. Newcastle Red Bulls are the only rugby club that Red Bull have. So that's the one which has caught the headlines. And it's interesting because this deal was done when Townsend was negotiating the extension to his contract with the Scottish Rugby Union. So he's under contract with the SRU until the end of the next World Cup in Australia in 2027. And Scottish Rugby say they don't have any issue with it. In fact, they think being, this connection with such a high profile brand in elite sport is going to help them. And they also don't think there's going to be any conflict of interest with Glasgow or Edinburgh. Red Bull have always wanted a big name. Is Gregor Townsend that big name? We'll soon find out.
James, thank you very much. There's another bizarre story from rugby, this time the other code in rugby league. Wigan Warriors claim that Lee have informed them that they do not intend to fulfil Friday's Super League playoff semi-final. Lee have, though, named a 21-man squad, and they also posted on social media 2 days to go until the semi-final. So good luck explaining what's going on here then, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, very much so. A big shock this morning. So essentially Wigan saying that Derek Beaumont, the Lee owner, got in touch with the club late last night, around about 20 to 11, and said, yep, as you said, we're not going to fulfil this fixture. He wants more tickets. There's a capacity of 25,000, 17,000 have been sold, 5,400 reserve seats, or just short of 5,000 unreserved seats were offered to Lee. And because there's obviously a disparity between that and the obviously capacity of the stadium, Derek Beaumont thinks that Lee should have more. The Safety Advisory Group, Super League and the Wigan Warriors' own ground safety officer say that they can't do that because there's policing requirements that come along with that. So essentially, Wigan are saying, this is it. This is the amount of tickets you're getting. That's more than 20%. It's that, which is a 10% more than you would normally get anyway, and that's the bare minimum. So essentially, whether this goes through or not, I think Lee, with a place at Old Trafford at 18 minutes away, would be loath to let this opportunity slip. But Derek Beaumont's obviously trying to play hardball. Wigan are equally playing hardball, and at the moment,
surely it goes ahead. Sure, I mean, look, exactly, the teams are coming back out in Monaco, but this cannot not go ahead.
No, and they would face sanctions, Lee, and I think they want to avoid that. But most of all, as you said, this is a huge opportunity. Adrian Lam and his players have worked their guts off to get to a third-place finish, to get to a semi-final of the Super League playoffs. And, there's no way, surely, that they're going to allow this to pass through their fingers.
Thank you very much, Matt. Watford have turned it round at Fratton Park. They now lead by 2-1. West Brom still 1-0 up at Norwich. Coventry still lead at Millwall. QPR and Oxford are goalless. Halifax have got a second at Rochdale. They lead by 2-0. And Altrincham have taken the lead at home to Tamworth in the National League. Let's go back to Chris and Connor in Monaco.
Yes, the team's just back out for the second half here. It's been an interesting game so far. Monaco 1, Manchester City 2. 2 goals from Erling Haaland to Chris just notices the teams came out from the tunnel there, was having a word with Takumi Minamino, the former Liverpool player who's on the bench for Monaco. And as you rightly say, Chris, those two would know each other from Salzburg in the past. So Minamino will hope that he'll get to come on and play some part in this second period. Monaco, who were much more attacking when they were behind in the first half, albeit just for a few minutes, and then they finished the first half on the attack again, having gone behind. So let's see what this second half holds for us. No changes in personnel over the break. Monaco, who were forced into making one change in the first half, as Doku accelerates away down the left-hand side, but he's offside, and that's going to come back for a free kick to Monaco, much closer to the halfway line. So Monaco with Philip Cohn in goal. He's made a few eye-catching saves. Not much he could do about the quality of the Erling Haaland goals. There is a defence of Mohamed Salisu, Eric Dyer, Tilo Kehrer, three central defenders, with Crepin Diatta, who started the game at left wing back, now playing right wing back. Kasum Ouattara's come on to play left wing back. Jordan Teze, who scored a brilliant goal alongside Mamadou Koulibaly in the midfield. And then a front three of Magnus Akliouche, the French international, who's looked good. And Fati, the one-time Spanish wonder kid who's trying to resurrect his career here at Monaco. He's had a fairly quiet game so far. And Folarin Balogun, the former Arsenal centre-forward, who wears number 9 through the middle. Manchester City with Donnarumma in goal. He was booked in the first half. Back four of John Stones, Ruben Diaz, Josko Guardiola, Nico O'Reilly. Rodri in his usual position, with then a line of four of Bernardo Silva on the right, Jeremy Doku on the left, Foden and Reinders in the middle, behind Erling Haaland, who has scored both of the goals. O'Reilly in possession here, plays the ball cleverly forward to Doku, and then sliding in to stop him is Koulibaly. Been impressed with him, and he made sure the last touch came off Doku there as well, so no corner for City. That is a goal kick to Monaco, who trail here by 2-1. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, lovely reverse pass there from O'Reilly into Doku, who made the run on the inside of Diatta, got away from the defender, but Koulibaly, that's a brilliant challenge from him. Yeah, interesting second half ahead. We'll see whether Monaco are a little bit braver in terms of the way they play. City in control, but Monaco have looked a threat.
Akliouche, number 11 on his back, picks it up, runs along the halfway line from right to left. He's got his eye up, he's looking for options here, gives it to Ansu Fati on the left wing. In fact, that's Ouattara who'd gone up outside Ansu Fati there. Akliouche will turn to give it back to Salisu, and then Monaco work it all the way back to Eric Dyer. Dyer, who won the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich last season, joined Monaco on a free transfer in the summer. Diatta tries to play it forward, but he's shut down by Nico O'Reilly. And that is a throw into Monaco, right in front of Pep Guardiola, who's his normal animated, agitated self down there as he tries to bellow the instructions onto his players.
When was the last time he wore a suit?
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah. I thought that.
Just because we're in Monaco, is
well,
it?
There's nice shops here, you see. Yeah. He'd have had a few hours to kill today, and you'd find yourself a tailor in Monte Carlo. As Josko Guardiola plays the ball back to John Stones, but Monaco are going to get a free kick here for a foul on Ansu Fati. So a free kick to Monaco inside Manchester City territory.
There's a high boot from Diaz on Balogun there, and allows Monaco to take a free kick. What's Eric Dyer doing?
Well, I tell you, regardless of what Eric Dyer is doing, I think this is a bit of a nonsense.
But he's trying to get, is it Phil Foden?
No, I think Phil Foden's trying to get Dyer booked here. So Dyer tried to take a free kick quickly because Foden wouldn't move away the full 10 yards. So he kicked the ball at him. So it does hit Foden on his boot. Foden's gone down like he's been hit by a tank, and it's way too dramatic.
Sometimes when the ball hits you in the knee like that, it hurts.
Wasn't the knee though? And come on,
hit him on the outside of the knee. I take your point. Yeah, that was poor from both, really, wasn't it?
I'm not.
I know. It's your role when you're out there. You know, you're trying to stop a quick free kick. I thought that was Dyer from Dyer.
Dyer from Dyer. I think Phil Foden, who's a brilliant player, he was trying to get Dyer in trouble there. Right, throw into City on the far side, and John Stones is going to take it. Monaco 1, Manchester City 2. 5 live at BBC Sounds. You can watch the highlights of all of this evening's Champions League games with Kelly Cates on BBC 1 from 10:40. You can also watch that later on the iPlayer. This is Foden. Better touch from him there. Gives it to Bernardo Silva. Back into Foden. Miscontrols this time. Akliouche tries to get it. Sliding down was Rodri. Rodri is fouled. Free kick to Manchester City midway inside their own half. Rodri tries to play it through the midfield to Gianni Reinders. Strong to hold on to possession there. This is Nico O'Reilly on the halfway line. City playing from right to left as we look down in this second half. They're defending the end where the City fans are housed away to our right hand side. They're quite a way back from the pitch here with the wide arc of the running track around the pitch here at the Stade Louis II.
Lovely feel, isn't there, in the stadium? You know, walking to the game is like sort of walking to a Horse of the Year show, really. That's the sort of way it feels to me. Everybody's so nice, aren't they?
Have you been to Horse of the Year show? I imagine that's quite popular around your way, yeah? it is very grand around these parts. It absolutely is. There's Monaco, who've already come from 1-0 down to sit 1-1 in this game. Now can they do it again? Trailing 2-1. Rodri picks out Haaland. Foden slipped as he played a good pass out to Doku on the left-hand side, controlled well by Jeremy Doku. Steps into the penalty area, and then it cannons off Akliouche, and that would have been goal-bound towards an own goal, but it was a comfortable hide and save by Philip Cohn. Manchester City, who benefited from not one but two own goals on Saturday when Burnley's Maxime Esteve twice put into his own net, and that could have been an unfortunate moment there for Akliouche.
Yeah, good from Doku. He's on that left-hand side. We know he's direct. Those 1v1 situations, he will not hesitate. Took Diatta on, shifting it on to that favoured right foot of his, fizzed the cross in, and Akliouche got slightly fortunate.
Manchester City in possession inside the Monaco half, played by Rodri back to the halfway line to Nico O'Reilly. Manchester City, who are away to Brentford in the Premier League on Sunday. And then after the international break, they'll have Everton at home. This is Reinders, does well to hold off Ansu Fati, feeds it to Bernardo Silva. On the overlapping run was John Stones, but his cross is too close to his former England international colleague Eric Dyer. Monaco are able to clear the ball away, but they don't hold on to it. This was a pattern for much of the first half as Manchester City regained possession.
Yeah, but I mentioned it in the first half, the three centre-halves that absolutely doing Monaco in. They're just sitting, defending their box deep.
Here's a chance though. Balogun, we've not seen much of him, charging down the right hand side, tries to cross it into Ansu Fati. He gives it straight to John Stones. Groans from the Monaco fans, and Balogun probably should have done a bit better there.
Yeah, but the three centre-halves are removable, and Manchester City overloading that central area. Reinders and Foden are having a field day getting on the ball.
Bernardo Silva picks out Foden 10 yards outside the penalty area, rolls it into the box. Reinders has taken that well in towards Haaland, who's on a hat-trick, but diving down, Philip Cohn, the goalkeeper, is able to save.
Guess what? Foden with freedom, half-turn, slid the ball to Reinders. I thought Reinders will be disappointed he doesn't find Erling Haaland, who would have been in for a hat-trick. Easy tapping at the far post, but good goalkeeping from Cohn.
I think Eric Dyer realises what you're discussing there, Chris, because he's having words with Thilo Kehrer, Mohamed Salisu, and sometimes he's trying to step forward a bit just to occupy that space where Foden has all that free area. Here's Akliouche, spins away from Rodri, gives it to Ansu Fati, miscontrols, manages to regain possession though. Now this is Balogun just over the halfway line, onto Ansu Fati again. Rodri's not really sprinting to try and keep up with him here. Balogun went down, but play continues, and a cross in from the left-hand side is blocked by John Stones and out for a Monaco corner. That's better from the home side, who still trail here 2-1.
Yeah, Balogun unhappy. I think the little scuffle with Gvardiol, and the ball popped out left to Ouattara, and I tell you what, Diatta was in at the far post. This is the thing at 2-1. Monaco still well in this game.
It was a bit naughty from Guardiola there. We see the replay. Balogun, who's laid it off, wants to then spin and turn and run into space to receive a return pass, and Guardiola pretty much rugby tackled him to the ground there, but referee allowed play to continue. He's not come back with any further sanction for Guardiola, and Monaco got the corner out of it, which has been taken. Akliouche, good ball in. Balogun stretching, really good chance, and it's out for a goal kick. Donnarumma will feel he had it covered, but Balogun sliding in, trying to smuggle the ball home, and that's about as close an opportunity that Monaco have had here this evening. There has been a goal in the Championship. Millwall against Coventry, Andy Stevenson.
What a goal this is. Haji Wright with a bullet header, finishing a wonderful cross from Milan van Ewijk on the right. That might snuff out what had been a decent second half until that point from the home side. It's Millwall 0, Coventry 2.
Elsewhere, Norwich still trailing at home to West Brom. It's Portsmouth 1, Watford 2 now, and 0-0 in the other game in the Championship tonight at Loftus Road, Queen's Park Rangers against Oxford. Not good news for Manchester City, because Rodri is down just outside the City penalty area. He's down, and there is concern amongst his teammates, who immediately have come running over. We'll get to see a replay here. Rodri was kind of standing leg as an opponent sort of barreled into him, but given his recent track record of injuries, this will be a concern for City.
Yeah, it's Monaco trying to put a high press on Manchester City, and the ball just popped back to Rodri. I think it's Jordan Teza who's slightly late, commits to the challenge, and he catches Rodri. Rodri back to his feet, just seeing that it's actually Teza stands on Rodri's right foot, saw one for him. Just seeing that Balogun chance again. I thought the cross was too far for Balogun to put in. Actually, on the replay, it actually went under his foot. He should have scored at the far post. Monaco should be level.
Manchester City still leading by 2-1, but this ain't over yet. We've only played 10 minutes of the second half as Ruben Diaz comes forward for City wearing all black tonight. Gives it short to Rodri in the centre circle. Back to Ruben Diaz. Now John Stones on the right-hand side. Skips in field of Balogun. Gives it back to Rodri once again. Rodri's immediately recovered from that. It looked, when he went down first, he was motionless and it really didn't look good at all, but he sprung back to his feet. Here's Nico O'Reilly down the other end, tries to cut it back, and Dyer puts it out for a corner. Corner to Manchester City on the left-hand side. They lead 2-1.
I love his intelligence, O'Reilly. On the inside there, making a run, and then the ball out to Doku. Little ball back to him. Just tries to stand the ball up on the byline. He's had an excellent game, O'Reilly. They look a good combination down that left-hand side. All the good things for Manchester City coming from their left.
It's a corner to City on the left-hand side. Tijani Reinders to take it. City's most expensive summer recruit. Raises his left arm as a signal. Here it comes. Right-footed delivery. Goalkeeper thought about coming. Then he retreats. Haaland was sniffing around the back post, but it's headed away by Salisu. City still have possession. Phil Foden just outside the penalty area gives it short to Rodri, well anticipated though, and in nipping was the impressive Koulibaly, who's then fouled surely by Rodri. Referee was going to play an advantage, but he's brought it back, and it's a yellow card, deserved yellow card for Rodri there for a deliberate foul on the halfway line.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think you'd say, if you're a Manchester City player, good foul, because Koulibaly just got the other side of Rodri. Rodri doesn't have the legs, doesn't have the pace, little tug of the shirt. A good break from Monaco.
As Monaco are just showing a few signs that they might have another in them. Here's a chance down the right-hand side. Diatu slightly stumbled under pressure from Nico O'Reilly as well, and his attempted delivery of a cross goes straight to Donnarumma.
Good run again from Diata.
Yep, been impressed with him tonight. Good interception by Mamadou Koulibaly, and here is Akliouche. There is talent in this Monaco team. This is the Champions League, of course. And elsewhere in this competition this evening at the Emirates, Arsenal Olympiacos. Let's get the latest from there. Chris Coles.
Arsenal still leading Olympiacos by 1-0, and they started the second half well. Leandro Trossard bending wide from 7 or 8 yards, but with this lead a fragile one. Turning to the bench is Mikel Arteta. Declan Rice and Jurrien Timber are on. Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0.
City on the attack. Phil Foden tries to crack in a shot, blocked by Salisu just inside the penalty area, and Monaco are able to get the ball away. What about Barcelona against Paris Saint-Germain? John Akers.
1, PSG 1, and PSG have started the second half well. Barcolas had a shot saved from 12 yards on the angle, and Hakimi has had a left foot shot blocked inside the penalty area. Barcelona 1, PSG 1.
Thanks very much. Earlier on that competition, Karabag beat Copenhagen 2-0. That was Rory Smith's tip, wasn't it? That Karabag were going to do really well in the Champions League, and I still don't feel you've probably acknowledged how clever he was making that tip, Chris.
No, you're quite right. No. I'm trying not to acknowledge it.
Here's a chance. Ansu Fati on the edge of the area gives it to Akliouche. He's in the penalty area. Right shot, finish shot on target. Saved by the right-handed glove of Donnarumma. That's his best save tonight. Monaco are improving as the evening continues, and they're beginning to ask real questions now. Akliouche so close to levelling it up again.
Yeah, they've looked at danger. Been good going forward all season, and it's clever from Akliouche, because you know he likes to manoeuvre the ball onto that left foot of his. A little shift, right-footed shot. The save from Donnarumma, absolutely brilliant. Big hand down to his right-hand side. Great reaction save.
Manchester City are preparing to make not one but 2 changes. They won't do it till after they defend the corner, but wouldn't be surprised if Rodri's about to go off. Nico Gonzalez getting ready to come on down there, and Mateus Nunes too. Here comes the corner, played in for the right hand side. Eric Dyer has gone forward, he wins the header but can't get it goal bound. The loose ball falls to Ansu Fati on the left wing. He's got support behind. Here comes the delivery, played in by Salisu. It's going to sit up for Akliouche. He tries to shoot, then Doku gets in the way. Akliouche hustles on, tries to barge his way through them all. Rodri isn't able to dispossess him, and he's a tricky customer as Akliouche, as he's running away from the City penalty area, but he's keeping the ball, and you can hear the approval of the Monaco fans. Picks a good pass to Teza into the penalty area. Chance, Salisu's left-footed shot is blocked. Monaco are on top at the moment, and a terrible effort is drilled too high. Was it Koulibaly? A rush of blood to the head, but Monaco have run a really good last few minutes here and are looking as if they could get an equaliser against Manchester City.
Yeah, good play from Monaco. Actually, the effort at the end is really poor. It's a shank from Koulibaly, but Akliouche, what a talent he looks, twisting and turning. Their own Manchester City players out on the right-hand side, and the ball popped into the box. It looked like Erling Haaland was going to clear the ball easily. Salisu used his body really well, nicked the ball off him. And Monaco, couple of chances in the last couple of minutes. Manchester City, work to do to see this game out.
Right, City making the double change. They've changed it now. It's going to be Savinho who's coming on. So Savinho replaces Doku on the left wing, and Nico Gonzalez comes on in place of Rodri.
I mean, Doku has been far more of a threat than Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Can he take off Bernardo Silva here, though? His old team.
Come on. It's not a tea party, Connor. Champions League.
Here is Bernardo Silva, the City captain. Reinders with a touch. This is John Stones coming forward over the halfway line. Rolls it to Nico O'Reilly. He's got Savinho ahead of him now. Fresh legs on the Manchester City attack. Back to the halfway line. Back to Josko Gvardiol. Just these last 5 minutes, Monaco have had a succession of chances, and Donnarumma's been called into some urgent action.
That's why I think he's a great signing. I really do. He's a big game player, and all this talk, well, he can't play with his feet. Well, he can. He may not be as good as some, but in those big moments, he doesn't have a lot to do often. Donnarumma, Manchester City goalkeepers in general, but you have to make big saves, and it's certainly that from Akliouche.
Savinho's committed a foul on Crépin Diatta. That's going to be a free kick to Monaco, right full-back position for them. Elsewhere this evening in the Champions League, Newcastle, an impressive win away in Belgium against Union Saint-Gilloise. They won by 4-0. Voltemada on the score sheet again. 2 penalties from Anthony Gordon. Harvey Barnes scored the 4th goal for Newcastle. Arsenal leading tonight against Olympiacos. Here come Monaco on the attack down the left-hand side. Cross played in by Ouattara, but he couldn't pick out Ansu Fati. City struggling to fully clear the ball away here, and it's been kept in play by Teze on the far side, assisted by Ansu Fati. Monaco holding onto the ball, pressing Manchester City much more convincingly now, as Thilo Kehrer, once of West Ham, gets it back and rolls it to Eric Dyer, and the backer on the halfway line again, but Monaco holding on to possession. Teze's touch to the near touchline now to Diatta, and he's got Akliouche ahead of him, stopped by Nico O'Reilly. Akliouche, he's one of those, he's never knows when he's beaten Akliouche. You think you got the ball off him, and he still manages to hold on to it. There's a foul on Savinho here, and that's going to be a free kick to Manchester City.
Yeah, yellow card for Diatta on Savinho. Savinho just got away from him. Diatta hauled him down. I've got to worry for Manchester City down that right-hand side. John Stones out in that right-back area. And Monaco have pace all down their left-hand side, and maybe targeting John Stones.
Stanis Dumbo, a young Belgian player who Monaco signed this summer from Sevilla, looks like he'll be the next cab off the rank. They're getting ready to make a change down there. Manchester City leading 2-1 away from home. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We're also on the Final Score video printer on the iPlayer and the BBC Sport app. And City, who would just love the comfort of a 2-goal cushion here as they look for an away win in the Champions League for the first time in 12 months. Down goes Reinders, he's fouled. Monaco just a bit hungrier in their tackles at the moment, and this delay in play will allow them to make the change. So Ansu Fati is going to depart, and what was his first start as a Monaco player, 1 or 2 little glimpses, but pale shadow of the young teenager who broke through a few years back at Barcelona. And on comes Idumo, another who's yet to start a game for Monaco, but he comes on for what is his European debut.
Fati not as effective as he would have liked to. We're just seeing the dress sense of Adi Huta, the manager of Monaco. Looks like he's off to a polo party down there.
Probably is around here, to be fair, yeah. I mean, he looks like he's just stepped off a yacht, and he's going back to the yacht as soon as possible once this game is over.
Very class. Well, he may well be, yeah.
Might well be, yeah.
Nice pair of chinos, white shoes, and blue jacket.
Deck shoes almost, yeah, absolutely. Kelly engineer an equaliser for his team here tonight. Remember, Monaco lost their opening game in this group phase. They're certainly showing a bit of fight here in the second half as Salisu plays the ball forward. Balogun can't make it stick, and the loose ball drifts through to Donnarumma. away to our right hand side. More live football coming up tomorrow evening. We've got Celtic against Sporting Braga. It's an early kick-off from 5:30 on Sports Extra. That'll be followed by Sturm Graz against Rangers at 7:45, and we'll also bring you commentary of Aberdeen against Shakhtar Donetsk. That's on Sports Extra 2. You can listen to that from just before 8 p.m.
It's the first time one of the Monaco centre-halves have gone in on Phil Foden in that area, in that sort of central area behind the Monaco midfield too. Foden has had a lot of freedom there. First time they've cottoned onto it. It's taken them 65 minutes, Monaco.
Guardiola on the halfway line. Manchester City all in black, playing from right to left as we look for down. Guardiola gives it back in field again to Ruben Diaz, and now into the midfield again to Phil Foden. Reinders out to the far side to Bernardo Silva. Good pressing, much better pressing in the midfield for Monaco. They weren't doing this earlier in the game, and as we've seen over the last 12 months, if City are pressed to the back, they do have the odd little mistake in them. Reinders here, back to Ruben Diaz. They're going to try and play their way through the press. Foden, infield to Nico Gonzalez, that's good. Right, space now on the left-hand side. Nico O'Reilly can come forward. Foden's made a run on the right wing. Haaland darting through the middle. O'Reilly drifts his way past one defender, gives it to Savinho. Now a ball into the centre, miscontrolled by Bernardo Silva, and Monaco were able to get it away. Still Monaco 1, Manchester City 2 here, as Savinho wins it back in the midfield. And Guardiola plays a low ball to the feet of Foden. Reinders helps it on to Bernardo Silva. Oh, he's done well there to get past the defender into the penalty area. Bernardo Silva shoots, blocked by Salisu. Kept his arms tightly behind his back there as it hit his lower body. Play out as City still have possession just outside the penalty area. Reinders gives it to John Stones on the right hand side. Thought about sending it across. Then he gives it short to Bernardo Silva. Back again to Reinders on the edge of the penalty area here. 2-1 Manchester City lead away from home in the Champions League tonight. Stones down by the corner flag that City attack on the right hand side. Gives it back again to Nico Gonzalez. Short passes these from Manchester City players right on the edge of the Monaco penalty area. And the French team at the moment struggling to get a touch of the ball. Stones has it again by the sideline, gives it to Nico Gonzalez again, and then over towards the near touchline once more with Josko Guardiola. And City just hoping they can wear down this Monaco defence now. Death by 1,000 cuts, as it so often is with this Pep Guardiola team. They'll just gradually nip away and find a little gap. Erling Haaland would love to get a third goal tonight and to get a hat-trick for him. Possession with John Stones just over the halfway line, and Monaco at the moment, Chris Sutton can't get a touch of the ball.
No, City in total control. Monaco just having a breather really. They pressed City high and they were happy to just fall back into that back five and defend the box very deep, let City play in front of them.
Savinho, nice swing of the hips, dummy to go one way, then cut inside. Reinders gives it back to Nico Gonzalez. This is 15 yards outside the box. A couple of little 1-2s between the pair of them. Monaco haven't had a touch of the ball in a long time here. They try to edge it up towards Erling Haaland, but Tilo Kehrer is there and he's able to clear the ball away. Arsenal also in front. The last time we heard from the Emirates, they played the Greek club Olympiacos this evening. Here's Chris Coles.
They are still leading, but a warning for Arsenal. Olympiacos had the ball in the Arsenal net, but ruled out for offside. Great ball into the box. El Koubi away from Gabriel, headed into the corner. Flag went up, and VAR said he was correct. Just offside. Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0.
Monaco 1, Manchester City 2 here. Goal at Millwall in the Championship against Coventry. Andy Stevenson's there.
Ellis Sims has added a third for Coventry. The Millwall fans heading for the exits. It was a strange goal. A header from Bobby Thomas, bobbled along the crossbar and dropped for Sims to just nod in. It's Millwall 0, Coventry 3 with under 10 minutes to go.
Thanks very much. Erling Haaland on 2 goals this evening. If he was to get a hat-trick, it would be the 27th senior hat-trick for club and country of his career for Erling Haaland. Interesting to see if Pep Guardiola does leave him on through to the 90 minutes. We're midway through the second half here. All the goals came in the first half. City went 1 up, Monaco back to 1-1. City then, the second Haaland goal, taking the lead once again. One of them was a lob with the goalkeeper from Erling Haaland from close range, and the other was a wonderful leaping header planted down into the bottom corner. Ruben Diaz on the halfway line for Manchester City, gives it short to Nico Gonzalez. City play right to left as we look down. This is Reinders, Guardiola. City so difficult to play against in this mood because you just can't get the ball off them. Guardiola forward to Savinho, plays a rapid quick 1-2 with Phil Foden there. Now Reinders. There was that spell when Reinders and Foden were getting almost unlimited space on the edge of the penalty area. That's been sorted out by Monaco. They've been able to fix that, and City aren't quite getting that freedom around the attacking areas that they would like to have. This is a good touch from Reinders out to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Now John Stones, chance to cross, cuts back at himself, has to look up and plays a short ball to Nico Gonzalez. City, I would say over the last few minutes they've probably had about 300 passes here, and Monaco have had about 4 touches. Remarkable dominance of this particular phase of play for Manchester City. Low ball in, Haaland eases it back, Foden tries to return it to him. Important touch on the edge of the box from a defender, and they'll try and clear it away with the down the left-hand side in Dumo. Good acceleration from him to get away from Bernardo Silva. Balogun goes down off the ball. Monaco still have possession. Here's Chris Sutton.
That's the beauty of this game. That's why still on a knife edge for Manchester City, because they had all the ball, but Monaco sat in and City didn't look dangerous. Here we go.
Maybe an opportunity here. Attacking down the left-hand side. Akliouche. Reinders working hard to get back and get goal side of him. This is Koulibaly, helped on by Teze. Over to the near touchline, Diatta. There's still a good 15 yards outside the Manchester City penalty area. You feel the best chance of a Monaco equaliser here will be on the counter-attack, but moments like this when City have got everyone back behind the ball is difficult. Here's Akliouche. That's a great surge. What a run from him into the penalty area, but eventually stopped by Nico Gonzalez. He made up at least 25 yards there, Akliouche, but he couldn't get the final shot at the end of it. Here's Eric Dyer stepping up into midfield from the back 3. Back to Mamadou Koulibaly again. To the near touchline, to Diatta. Diatta's returned this for Koulibaly. Clever ball, gets it by the byline on the right-hand side. He's got Foden with him, shadowing. There's a bit of space here for Teze. Left-footed shot, and it's nowhere near as good as the right-footed shot he scored with in the first half. And that nearly ended up in amongst the Manchester City supporters. But worth the goal from Teze.
Yeah, that would have been some story, wouldn't it? Similar shooting position as to when he scored the goal in the first half, or similar range, I should say, but this time on his left foot. Obviously not as technically proficient with that left as he is with his right. Found the top corner in the first half, high and wide in the second.
All right, here comes the Manchester City change. It's going to be a like-for-like at right back. Matheus Nunes is going to come on for John Stones. So John Stones, who this evening made his 50th start in the Champions League, and he's replaced for the final 20 minutes or so by Matheus Nunes. Let's get an update from the Barcelona-Paris Saint-Germain game. John Akers.
Still 1-1. Barcelona have had some good chances, though. Olmo, brilliant chance, middle of the goal. Black blocked by the captain, Hakimi, spectacularly. Rashford's had a free kick beaten away, and then Olmo and Rashford have come off, and Lewandowski is amongst the players coming on. It's Barcelona 1, PSG 1.
Here it is Monaco 1, Manchester City 2. By the time the stoppages are added on, we've got at least 20 minutes to play here. Little flick on touch by Foden is brilliant. He sets Savinho away. Savinho having a look to see who's with him. Haaland shouting from on the edge of the box. It's cut back to Reinders, and Reinders tries to take them on. Brilliant! Oh! It's come back off the crossbar. I'd already said the G of goal. I thought that was in. Reinders slams it off the crossbar, similar to how Foden did in the first half. That was a wonderful manoeuvre to get into the position to shoot, and Manchester City are within a whisker again.
It's a great flick from Foden, and Savinho roaring down that left-hand side, and he gets his head up and feeds Reinders on the left-hand side of the box, who shapes to shoot with his right foot. Shaping to shoot, trying to bend it into that far corner. Little shift, and then you're right, similar to Phil Foden's on his weaker foot, hammers the ball off the crossbar. Monaco have ridden the luck at times.
Another really good turn by Foden here. He's been one of the standout performers today. Bernardo Silva chips it into the box. Reinders does well to get there ahead of Eric Dyer, but he's a bit isolated, and he can't hold on to possession as Salisu clears it away, but then it's miscontrolled in the midfield, and Erling Haaland, chance to steady, shoots on target, saved out for a corner. Haaland hungry for the hat-trick. He hit that from outside the D, and yet it still took a reaction save of the keeper to push it away for the corner.
He's made some important saves. Cone down to his left-hand side. Clever little ball from Nico Gonzalez outside of the right boot. Fist into Haaland. Touch shot. 20 yards out, and Cone, smart save, is keeping them in it.
Just seen a replay of that Reinders shot again. I mean, that was so close. Slammed off the crossbar. Goalkeeper beaten hands down. 74 minutes on the clock. This is 5 Live at BBC Sounds in the Champions League on the Riviera tonight in Monte Carlo. It's a corner taken by Phil Foden, in swinger. Guardiola tried to attack to the front post. It falls for Reinders. Shot just off target. Hits the advertising boards and comes into the side of the net.
You know, when things like this happen, though, and Cone keeps making the saves, and Manchester City, he got mixed up there, crashing a couple of shots off the crossbar, you think 2-1. Are they going to get a moment?
Are Manchester City going to regret these narrow opportunities not ending up at the back of the net? City still lead, looking to make it 2 wins out of 2 in this Champions League group phase. Let's go back to the Championship. It's got a Millwall Coventry, Andy Stevenson.
Coventry are rampant against the Lions. Summer signing Kane Kessler-Hayden gets his first goal for the Sky Blues, and Coventry are going back second in the Championship. It's Millwall 0, Coventry 4.
Yeah, it's not all over yet at Carrow Road, but still Norwich City 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. Norwich who haven't won at home this season. Portsmouth back level terms, 2-2 at home against Watford. Still scoreless Queen's Park Rangers against Oxford. In the Champions League, Dortmund 2-1 up at Atletico Madrid. Napoli 1-1 with Sporting. Juventus, who were behind to Villarreal, have turned it around. They lead by 2-1. Leverkusen still 1-1 against PSV Eindhoven. As a free kick is given here to Monaco. And Manchester City just have to take a few steps back into a defensive formation here.
It's a ridiculous award of the free kick from the referee. Nico Gonzalez just fending off Jordan Tezza, who goes to ground. Gonzalez, Nico, quite entitled to do that. He feels hard done by.
Monaco in possession, just inside their own half. Quarter of an hour of normal time to play. Tilo Kira gives it short. Matara helps it on through Diatta. Now that's Akliouche. Looks dangerous every time the ball comes to him. He was sure he was fouled by Guardiola there. He thought there was a hand around the neck and pulling his shirt. The assistant on the near side was right beside that and said no. So Manchester City just play on. And Akliouche, who was sure the free kick would come, he just stopped competing there, and even now he's continuing the discussion with the referee's assistant as City come away with possession.
I thought it was a foul. I thought he was pulled back. Manchester City get away with one.
Reinders comes over the halfway line, cuts it back to Mateus Nunes. City, who had that poor spell in August when they lost back-to-back games against Tottenham and Brighton, but there's been very much an improvement to the whole mood around the club since then. As Bernardo Silva has possession, 15 yards inside Monaco territory, back on very familiar soil here. Bernardo Silva really made his name at this football club when he was part of a brilliant team when he was with the likes of Fabinho, who'd go on to Liverpool, and they had Bakayoko, who went to Spurs, and they had a very young Kylian Mbappe came through making a name for himself, and Radamel Falcao was in that team. That was an absolutely fantastic Monaco team that Bernardo Silva was part of, and he's back here tonight.
Won the league, didn't they?
Yes, they did, yeah, 2017. So there's only, in the last 12 years, there's only been 2 years that Paris Saint-Germain didn't win it, and one of those years was, one was Lille, wasn't it? One was Monaco. Here comes Mateus Nunes attacking down the right-hand side, gets to within 10 yards of the byline. Plays it back to Gianni Reinders. Monaco just hoping that a little break will come their way, but at the moment it's long spells of possession from Manchester City as Guardiola fires it forward, not accurately, and that gives possession back to Philip Cole.
Yeah, Mateus Nunes on that right-hand side now. I think that as an attacking force, Manchester City will be better, and defensively, fresh legs in that right-back area. Pep's just not having him as a central midfielder when he signed for the club. Thought that's where he would end up playing regularly. Hasn't happened.
Every Premier League start that Mateus Nunes has made in 2025 has been at right back. Last time he started in a different position was last December.
There's just a little tweak from Monaco. Eric Dyer now when they're in possession. He's just going up one into that central midfield area.
Manchester City have lost the last 4 Champions League away games. Their only win on the road in this competition last season was at Slovan Bratislava. Still work to do to see this through here, but City leading 2-1 at the moment away from home at Monaco in the Champions League, and City will hope this is a return to the old standards that they were used to in getting the job done in this competition. Nico Gonzalez bang on the halfway line. He's come on as a second half substitute here in place of Rodri. Rodri, who gave the City fans a big scare when he went down injured in the second half, but he did seem to recover from that at the time. So much of the press conference which I sat in on at the stadium last night was talking about Rodri and how Pep Guardiola's going to have to manage his minutes. And he actually said, Guardiola, he said through the whole season now, he doesn't think Rodri's going to start 3 games in a row anymore. He doesn't expect that to happen. That's really good from Foden again. Picking up to Gianni Reinders. Wanted to lay it in the path of Erling Haaland, but sliding in was Eric Dyer to put it out for a corner. Good from City again.
Yeah, it's good link up. Foden into Reinders, and Erling Haaland darts between the 2 centre-halves, Salisu and Dyer, as he did in the first half to score. I just wondered with his initial movement taking the centre-halves away, whether Reinders could have just driven on with himself to the edge of the box and got a shot off.
So the corner's going to be taken by Reinders again. Monaco fans behind that goal, their team are defending, still waving the flag, still keeping the noise up in support of their team, still believing they can get an equaliser here. Defending to do at the moment though as Nico Gonzalez heads the corner of the front post, and then he tries a second time to crack in a shot. Too many bodies in the way as it's hooked as far as Bernardo Silva, and then that's not a good ball back in from Bernardo Silva by his standards as he just lobs it back into the penalty area. 80 minutes on the clock, into the last 10 minutes of normal time now. Akliouche over to the far side to Ouattara. Akliouche playing a bit deeper now at the moment, sprays a lovely long ball in front of Diatta, who stretches to control it and can't. And disappointingly for Monaco, that goes out for a throw. So there's going to be a late throw of the dice here now from Adi Hütter, the former Borussia Mönchengladbach coach. He's been in charge of Monaco for 2 years now. He makes a triple substitution. Mika Biret is going to come on, the Dane who was on the books at Arsenal and Fulham and Motherwell in the past. So he's coming on. So too, young Cabral is going to come on, an inexperienced player. And then the Nigerian, Ilenka Kena, is going to come on, who scored twice in the last 3 league games for Monaco. But he's young, he's a teenager, 19 years of age, and he comes on here. So a triple change for Monaco as they perhaps look for a late surge here to try and salvage a draw while they make the substitutions. Let's go to Millwall Coventry, Andy Stevenson.
Coventry win 4-0 to go second in the Championship again and keep their unbeaten run going. Goals number 7 and 8 of the season for Hadji Wright. Ellis Sims added a third, and Kane Kessler Hayden completed the rout. Millwall 0, Coventry 4.
Okay, Ilakena comes on in place of Salisu. So that is a forward coming on for a defender. Biret is a forward, replaces Balogun, so that's like for like. And Cabral comes on in place of Jordan Teze, who scored a brilliant goal in the first half, but is it going to be enough to take something from Monaco here? So those 3 changes now been made. Manchester City, by the time the stoppages are added on, there's still 10 minutes plus to go here, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and maybe the last throw of the night from Hütter, the Monaco coach. Fresh legs on up top. Looks like they've gone to a back 4, and Manchester City may have some defending to do in these closing stages.
City have a throw-in. Monaco 1, Manchester City 2. Tessie with the goal for Monaco, 2 from Erling Haaland. How are Arsenal getting on into the closing stages of the Emirates? Hang on, Chris. We're going to Chris Coles in a moment. Erling Haaland's on the attack for City. Gives it into Savinho. Great slide from Thilo Kehrer. Very important tackle that, as Erling Haaland very nearly set up a goal-scoring opportunity for City. To Arsenal, Chris Coles.
He's done that too a couple of times. Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0. They should be 2-0 up. Martin Ødegaard's missed a great chance, found by Saka. Ødegaard's first shot well saved. Second, a tap-in. Defender somehow off the line. Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0.
Thanks very much. Gonzalez stretches through it but can't get for Manchester City. This is Idumbo on the halfway line. Monaco hoping for a late surge, having made that triple substitution, but Manchester City are bedding in, ready for what's going to be thrown at them. Remember, they conceded that very late equaliser at the Emirates not so long ago. Here's a chance to come forward with Diatta down the right hand side. Diatta plays a decent ball through the channel, and here's the first touch for Ilenkiena, who's just come on, and he wins a corner. While we wait for that, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, John Akers.
1-1 still with 7 minutes plus added time remaining, and PSG have just hit the post. Kang in with a left foot shot from the edge of the area, pinged off the outside of the post, and Zabani's had a header over. Either side could still win it. Barca 1, PSG 1.
Tess's going to take the corner. Cabral came on for Koulibaly in the midfield. So Jordan Teze, on his birthday, having already scored against Manchester City, swings in the corner. Erling Haaland's back defending on the edge of the 6-yard box, heads it out. It actually sat up for Cabral, who caught it sweetly on the volley, but too many bodies in the way ahead of him, and it was deflected away, but it was a good volley from him at the time. Down goes Idumbo, and he gets a free kick for that. Probably outside of shooting range, over 15 yards outside the penalty area, but an attacking free kick all the same for Monaco.
Yeah, he's looked lively, hasn't he, Idumbo, since he's come on. Positive play off that left-hand side, goes past Nico. And then he's fouled. Good strike from Cabral, wasn't it, as an Erling Haaland header. It's Nico Gonzalez again, on target, heading it clear.
So, free kick here. Surely too far out for a shot, but they are erecting the one-man wall just to be sure Donnarumma's actually standing on the edge of his 6-yard box. He's not expecting this to be a shot. As Tessa stands over it, and he doesn't shoot, he lofts it in. Eric Dyer, flick on header, bounces in front of Donnarumma, who makes the save. Donnarumma, hang on, Eric Dyer is lying down inside the penalty area, holding his face here.
Well, there's a high boot, isn't it?
Intimating that he was fouled inside the box, and the VAR will be looking at this. High boot from, I think it's Nico Gonzalez, but does he actually connect with Eric Dyer? It's a potential penalty check from the VAR. Manchester City leading 2-1, but Monaco may be about to get a penalty here.
Well, my initial reaction, you see Dyer gets there first. Nico Gonzalez doesn't get any of the ball. He gets Eric Dyer, and I tell you what, the fact he doesn't get the ball, I think the penalty will be awarded here. Eric Dyer having words with the referee. His boot is so high, and he catches him.
The deliberations are ongoing. They've put up a huge graphic on the stadium big screen here to say potential penalty check.
I mean, even if he got the ball with his boot that high, he's caught Dyer. Dyer nips him in front of Nico Gonzalez. Bernardo Silva having a word with the referee, but he's caught him.
We're still looking at it. It hasn't been given one way or the other yet. Monaco, who scored 1 goal in their league defeat on Saturday, and it was from the penalty spot. It was scored by Ansu Fati, who of course has gone off here, so it'll have to be a different penalty kick taker. Monaco, who did miss a penalty in their last Champions League game against Bruges. Akliouche took it that night and he missed it. And I don't know if he's just protecting the penalty spot at the moment, but Elenki Kede is standing right on the penalty spot.
You know what this means.
And the referee has been asked to come across and look at the monitor for himself, and as Chris alludes, that usually means that they are expecting he'll change his mind. So Manchester City with high jeopardy here. Donnarumma is running with the football. What is he doing? How bizarre. He's taken the football and he's run off the pitch with it. And then over to try and protect him is Ruben Diaz, who was full-on barrel pushed in the chest. One of the
Donnarumma's doing.
Monaco players.
He's going to try and get an instruction of where this penalty will be headed. As far as I know, there he is. Look, I mean, if you're Monaco, you're unhappy about that. Yeah. I get that. He's now looking down. He's being.
Red card has been shown to one of the backroom staff, I believe, of Monaco for getting involved in all of that.
You can see now the Manchester City staff in and around Donnarumma. I mean, is that right? They're doing that now.
Right. He shouldn't be able to leave the field like this. But also the fact that he's taken the ball with him, because he's thinking, if I run over to the touchline this far, the referee could award the spot kick. I mean, technically they could take it when I'm not even in the goal mouth. But I doubt that. But you know, he's taking the ball with him to delay the whole procedure. And surely leaving the field to get a team talk like this feels a little bit much for Donnarumma. Yellow card for Bernardo Silva.
That's all going off here. I mean, by the way,
Donnarumma's already on a yellow, by the way. Already on a yellow.
That's a good point. What I would say, you've got to be pretty brave or stupid to sit there. Try and take the ball off Donnarumma.
Sorry to jump in, Chris, but with all of this going on, the referee still hasn't had a chance to look at these replays and see whether it's going to be a penalty or not.
Is there a slight touch on the ball from Nico Gonzalez? What we do know, Eric Dyer gets the ball, Gonzalez's foot is up.
Not sure Gonzalez gets a touch. I think,
but he certainly catches.
He does.
Eric Dyer with.
It's almost instantaneous. At the exact same time, his toe touches the ball and his instep, sort of just above his boot, connects with the face of Eric Dyer. I still think that would be deemed to be dangerous play, putting your foot that high up.
I mean, how long has this been going on?
To be fair to the officials, he's had to sort out all this other nonsense with red cards to people on the bench, and Donnarumma only now coming back onto the field. He's had a look, and it's a penalty. There's the roar from the Monaco fans that confirms that particular piece of bad news. Now, can Donnarumma, who, let's face it, has got a bit of a track record when it comes to penalty saves. You'll remember the Euros final at Wembley when he saved a couple, wasn't it, in the shootout? He's had a record over the years with Paris Saint-Germain and with Italy of saving penalty kicks. So Eric Dyer, the former Tottenham player, fouled in the penalty area, and it's now going to be a penalty, and Dyer is the man who's holding the ball over the penalty spot. I think he wants to take it, Eric Dyer.
Yeah, and I wonder what the Manchester City instruction was to Donnarumma. Which way will Eric Dyer hit this? Will it be bluff, the old double bluff? Big moment this, isn't it? We talked about Manchester City not taking the chances. Couple of efforts off the crossbar.
Absolutely huge moment in this match. Manchester City looking to win away in the Champions League for the first time in a year. Eric Dyer comes forward and sends Donnarumma the wrong way and scores for Monaco. And for the second time tonight, they've come from behind to level. It's 2-2 here into stoppage time. There was a long delay there, and that'll all be added on to the end of things. But Manchester City, who've twice been in front, have not been able to hold on to those leads.
Fair play, Eric Dyer. He held his nerve. He won the penalty. And then there's a long time before the penalty was awarded. And it's a good slot. Donnarumma throws himself, his big frame, to his right-hand side. Eric Dyer goes left, opens his foot out. They haven't deserved it, but they're level. Dyer gets them level.
He's got a track record from the spot, does Eric Dyer. World Cup 2018 in Russia. He scored the winning penalty in the shootout win against Colombia, you might remember, for England. Eric Dyer scores from the spot here for Monaco. We've moved into 7 minutes now of stoppages. 2-2, and Pep Guardiola will be furious. There's been such long stretches in this game when City were completely dominant in terms of possession. They've hit the crossbar twice, remember, Phil Foden and Tijani Reinders. But, you know, you made the point, Chris. Would they regret not extending that lead? They certainly regret it now.
And they've looked at danger on the counter, haven't they, Monaco? But really, it was a daft bit of play from Nico Gonzalez.
Kliush goes in for Nico Gonzalez. Foden tries to guide it into the penalty area. Eric Dyer with good defensive duty there. Monaco 2, Manchester City 2. 2 goals for Erling Haaland, but it's, as things stand, not going to be enough for City to get the win here tonight unless they've got a late twist in the tail. What about the closing stages of Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain? John Akers.
The champions of Europe have hit the front. It's Barcelona 1, PSG 2. Ramos with the goal after a beautiful ball from Hakimi. They checked it for offside. He was level, and PSG could be winning 3 in a row at Barcelona. Barcelona 1, PSG 2.
And late on at Arsenal, Chris Coles.
A second for Arsenal. They will be winning this game. Bukayo Saka with it off the bench to win the points. Good finish under the goalkeeper, low into the corner. Bukayo Saka scores. Arsenal 2, Olympiacos 0.
Yeah, been in Arsenal's last 2 games, and Bukayo Saka's looked really good since his return from injury. Manchester City here, though, 2-2 away in Monte Carlo. Phil Foden, while trying to brush off a challenge there, he's sort of trailing hand into the face of an opponent. It's not a yellow card or anything like that, but it is a free kick from Monaco on the edge of their penalty area, and they will take their time over this. Chris Sutton's
I know there's only 5 minutes left now. 92nd, 93rd minute we're into. It does feel like there's going to be another moment in this game, though.
Could Haaland still get his hat-trick? Still on the field, Erling Haaland. We've played 3 minutes of the 7 that were due to be added on. Good work by Adumo, who's been really good since coming off the bench. Taking on Mateus Nunes. Good recovery from the Portuguese international to slide and put it out for a corner. That is a corner to Monaco, and he takes it quickly, Adumo, before City could settle. Here he goes, a short corner. Back to Adumo. Oh, has he pushed it too far? He has. He pushed it around Foden, but the ball beat him in the race to the byline, and that was a bit wasteful from the kid there, as Donnarumma takes the goal kick quickly, and it's become a rather frantic end to this game, which has had 4 goals already in the Champions League tonight on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Cabral pushes the ball forward, but the flag is raised, the ball had gone out of play, and it's possession back to Manchester City, and they've got to try and get it forward there. Yellow card shown, I think, to Savinho, was it there? I'm not quite sure, but a yellow card was shown.
Manchester City players severely agitated now. This is one which they've let slip. But fair play to Monaco. Eddie Hooter for really gambling in the city famous for its casinos.
I was going to say, if you're going to have a gamble, this is the place to do it. And it looks like it's come off for Monaco here. This would be a very welcome result for them, unbeaten at home this season, up against Manchester City, but it ain't over yet. Tijani Reinders. Seen so many late goals this new season across various competitions. Can there be a late sting in the tail here? City of possession, as they have done for so much of the game. Ruben Diaz drags it on the boots away from Mika Bireth. This is Nico Gonzalez. Up to Phil Foden. Was he found at the edge of the box? He is. Free kick within shooting range. Just outside the D. Well, a few yards outside the D. But a free kick for Manchester City, deep in stoppages now. We're in the 95th minute.
There's Foden again, clever in the space on the half turn. And this is a brilliant range. This is brilliant shooting range, far enough out to get it up and over the wall. Foden's over it. Reinders over it as well.
Match of the day highlights coming up this evening. BBC One from 10:40. You'll see all the goals, all the best of the action around Europe tonight. You'll see the 2 Erling Haaland goals from here, but you'll also see the Jordan Teze wonder strike and the penalty from Eric Dyer, as Monaco have twice come from behind here to lie 2-2 deep in stoppage time. Reinders and Foden, 2 players who can really hit them, but it's not. That's a decoy. It's rolled into the penalty area to Bernardo Silva. Nico Gonzalez tries to get on the end of the cross. Good defending by Teze, and Akiliu should clear it away, and he does from the left full-back position. And Manchester City tried the element of surprise there, but now they've got to get back, and they're a bit thin at the back. Has a surge forward here over the halfway line from Ilekekena. City did do well to get bodies back behind the ball. This is Teze. He's fouled by Foden. Free kick to Monaco, as City tried to take the sting out of this now late on.
Fair play to Monaco there. Phil Foden fortunately didn't see yellow there. Eric Dyer going forward. They're going to try and work something, Monaco.
It's good to see, they're not just betting in to protect 2-2 here. They believe they could go and nick a 3-2 draw here. And it's shades of 2017 when they came from behind Monaco in the 2-legged tie to win 6-6. They won on away goals in the end. And they're trying to summon some of that spirit here. A comeback to win against Manchester City. 2-2 for the moment. Nico Gonzalez chest down inside the penalty area. Mateus Nunes, awkward bounce, just drills the ball high up in the air trying to clear it. Eric Dyer wins the header, sends it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Bireth battling there with Mateus Nunes. Mateus Nunes clears. That's a great touch from Erling Haaland. And now Savinho, as he tries to get it under control, rolls it in front of Bernardo Silva. Haaland's continued the run. He's in the penalty area waiting for this, but Bernardo Silva takes his time, twisting, turning, holds on to possession, gives it to Nico Gonzalez, and we are now into the 97th, almost the 98th minute of the game. Here is Nico O'Reilly, just outside the penalty area that Manchester City attack. 2-2 on 5 Live at BBC Sounds. What a run for Guardiola. He got his way past the defender into the penalty area, but Eric Dyer blocked his shot. Really good for the Croatian, but the shot blocked at the end of it. Nico Gonzalez continues. Guardiola is still onside. He tries to cross, but he's blocked by Thilo Kehrer, and then the flag belatedly does rise on the far side, and the referee blows the final whistle. And that roar of approval from the Monaco fans will tell you what they think of this scoreline. Monaco 2, Manchester City 2. City have still not won on the road in the Champions League in over a year. Chris Sutton.
Feels like there's one that got away for Manchester City, in control of the game, but at 2-1. Just wondered, Monaco, last throw of the dice, chucked another couple of forwards on, but it was a really poor challenge from Nico Gonzalez in his own box. Eric Dyer getting the header, but was caught by a high boot, and Eric Dyer, fair play to him, slotted the penalty away really coolly. But Manchester City will feel it's a game that they should have won. They had chances to win the game, didn't take them. I mean, the point's okay away from home, but they should have had 3.
2 goals from Erling Haaland. Twice they hit the crossbar. Brilliant shots from Foden and Reinders, but City did not build on their lead, and Monaco were able to come back, and this one finishes 2-2, and Monaco continue their wonderful home record against Premier League clubs. That's now 10 times they've hosted English teams here, and Monaco have only ever lost one of them. 2-2 here.
You have a monitor there, don't you?
We do.
Yeah, and you're going with penalty, are you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it's one where his boot is so high, it looks like there's contact. Did he win the ball? It's so difficult to see, but I think he caught Eric Dyer. The referee and I think VAR, I think they thought he caught Eric Dyer. Why is his boot up that high? Yeah. Gives the referee a decision to make, and he goes over to the monitor, makes the decision. I don't have a problem with that at all.
It's not like it was a stooping header down low either. I mean, Dyer's up high and the foot is up really high, and even if there's a touch of the ball, simultaneously he does connect with Dyer. So, he's hit him in the head.
Or Dyer connect. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll argue this after the news.
Who wins the ball? Does he touch the ball?
I don't think either of them win the ball. It hits Guardiola, doesn't it?
Blimey, I'm not so sure you're right.
I think it does touch the boot of Nico Gonzalez. It hits his toe at the same time. Just the bottom of his shin pad, that area hits the head of...
Right, so he wins the ball then?
No, but that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, so if your foot is up that high and you connect with an opponent, it's one of those early rules you learn when you're a schoolboy, chappers. That's dangerous play, and hitting the ball is not a mitigating circumstance to get you out of it. Unfortunately,
it's not a Northern Pub League game. I mean, you can't put your foot up that high in any form of football and expect to get away with it. Come on,
you can in Northern Pub Leagues actually. But anyhow, we'll